When we were kids, that bratty childhood friend's mom used to say I was all round and chubby, round head, round face, round belly. She said I was absolutely adorable, and even joked about making me her son-in-law one day. But the girl herself? She just stood there looking totally disgusted, sneering, who would ever want to marry this little fatty? She even swore that if I grew up to have a chiseled, handsome face, and turned into some rich, cool, incredibly hot guy, she would literally get down on her knees and propose to me on the spot. Too bad I didn't even get the chance to grow up and prove her wrong before my family packed me up and shipped me off overseas. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, it was already our senior year of high school. I finally decided to move back home to buckle down for the big college entrance exams. But the second the news of my return leaked out, the whole school went absolutely crazy. Everyone was grabbing their popcorn, dying to see the epic showdown between the school beauty's current boyfriend and me, her former fiancé. They were even taking bets on who would have the last laugh. The school beauty herself even mocked me in public, claiming that since I grew up abroad, I was probably still some tacky, overweight loser. And my own cousin, who was totally brainwashed by her, was all ready to pile on the insults, until he actually saw me in person. His face instantly flushed beet red. His imagination immediately ran wild, picturing the whole class swarming me for autographs. Even her parents, who used to treat me like I didn't exist, did a complete 180-degree flip when they saw me. They suddenly acted like they'd plucked the moon and stars from the sky just to please me. Meanwhile, when my butler picked me up at the airport, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. He just kept muttering over and over, "The young master is 100 times more handsome in person than in his photos." But those kids at school had absolutely no idea what I looked like now. They actually went on the school forums and started a betting pool, gambling on whether I was drop-dead gorgeous or insanely ugly. The post shot straight to the top of the trending list, and the gossip hounds at Mingde High School completely lost their minds over it. Living for the drama, they were throwing down bets left and right. The entire school was practically craning their necks, counting down the days until I showed up as the new transfer student. Everyone wanted to see with their own eyes just what kind of guy the first turned out to be. But what really made everyone's jaws drop to the floor was that the moment I got back, I didn't even bother looking for Shen Qingqiu. Instead, I marched straight over to her house, to lay my cards on the table with her parents and call off the engagement. The second I stepped out of the Shen family's front door, her mother immediately whipped out her phone and called Shen Qingqiu. As soon as the call went through, she screamed at the top of her lungs, "Shen Qingqiu, you get your butt back here right this instant. If you are not walking through this door in 10 minutes, I'm disowning you." She unleashed all her fury onto her daughter. With that ear-piercing shrieking, all her elegant, high society manners completely flew out the window. Getting chewed out so brutally by her mom left Shen Qingqiu totally stunned. Standing right next to her, Gu Ziteng heard every single word and quietly clenched his fists. A flash of bitter resentment crossed his face. Why the hell did her mother look down on him so much? Just because he came from an ordinary family? How was he any worse than some random guy they hadn't even seen in years? Gu Ziteng's eyes started burning as tears welled up and swirled in his eyes. His voice broke with a pitiful sob. "Qingqiu, you should hurry back. Your mom must have found out you were hanging out with me. And that's why she's so furious." Seeing the tears rolling down his face, Shen Qingqiu's heart utterly broke for him. She reached out and pulled him into a tight, protective hug. She gently stroked his back and whispered, "Oh, my silly Ziteng. Please don't cry. How could any of this be your fault? It's all my mom's fault. She's just way too controlling and always snaps like this over nothing. But honestly, this is the first time she's ever exploded like this. I'd better get back home right now and see what's going on, before she tries to come after you and make your life miserable." Gu Ziteng's body stiffened slightly. He cursed under his breath. Shen Qingqiu really was useless. He couldn't count on her at all. Counting on her to break off the engagement herself was clearly a lost cause. Gu Ziteng could only pray that her so-called fiancé was downright hideous. That way, even if the engagement couldn't be broken off, Shen Qingqiu's heart would definitely still lean toward him. Just then, Shen Qingqiu pulled out her phone and checked the time. Only then did she push Gu Ziteng out of her embrace. She spoke in a rush. "I'm out of time. You head back by yourself. I can't drop you off today. See you at school tomorrow." Gu Ziteng forced a sweet, obedient smile. "See you tomorrow." The moment Shen Qingqiu's car drove out of sight, the smile on Gu Ziteng's face vanished instantly. He whipped out his phone and dialed a number, his voice taking on a tearful whine. "Hello? Are you busy right now? I got left on the side of the road. I can't get home. I'm so scared." Only after hearing the response he wanted did Gu Ziteng hang up. Sitting alone by the road waiting, he grabbed his phone again to scroll through the forums, only to find that all the threads gossiping about him and Shen Qingqiu, as well as the poll betting on her looks, were completely gone. Refusing to give up, he furiously refreshed the page several times, but the posts had vanished without a trace. Furious, Gu Ziteng slammed his fist into the ground. "Damn it, today is absolute garbage." Meanwhile, Shen Qingqiu was anxious as hell, rushing all the way back to the Shen family estate. The second she walked through the door, she saw her mother sitting on the couch, face like a thundercloud, radiating a furious do not approach aura. Shen Qingqiu's heart dropped. She gulped nervously. No matter how much of a boss she was at school, in front of her own mother, she turned into a meek little lamb. The moment her mother saw her step inside, she didn't even say a word, just stormed right over. Terrified, Shen Qingqiu immediately hid behind her sister, Shen Yue. Clinging desperately to the hem of Shen Yue's shirt, she screamed, "Sis, help me." Her mother shot Shen Yue a fierce glare, her voice freezing cold. "Move out of my way." Shen Yue casually swatted Shen Qingqiu's hands away, turned around, and went to sit on the couch, making it perfectly clear she was just there to watch the show. Seeing her backup abandon her, Shen Qingqiu decided to just say screw it. She yelled at the top of her lungs, "Mom, what exactly do you want? You told me to get back here in 10 minutes. And I didn't even go over the time limit. I just don't want to marry someone I don't like. Is that too much to ask? I'm your own daughter." Off to the side, Shen Yue felt a bitter pang of jealousy. Shen Qingqiu didn't want it. But she did. If only she could be the bride in this arranged marriage. Then she'd have a valid excuse to pursue him. But upon hearing this, her mother just sneered. She raised her hand and tossed a jade pendant right at Shen Qingqiu. Her tone was dripping with sarcasm. "Well then, congratulations. You've gotten exactly what you wanted." Shen Qingqiu caught the jade pendant on reflex. She stood frozen in place, flipping it back and forth in her hands, looking completely bewildered. What the hell was this thing? This jade pendant had always been kept closely guarded by her mother. Shen Qingqiu had never even seen it before, let alone recognized it. Mother Shen ground her teeth, glaring right at her. "This is the token of your engagement. Gu Chen came to our house in person today. He specifically brought this jade pendant back. It's obvious he wants to call off the wedding face to face." Shen Yu's hand jerked, nearly dropping her teacup. Her eyes were wide with sheer disbelief. "So he came here today to cancel the engagement?" The heavy gloom pressing down on her chest vanished in an instant, and a massive weight was finally lifted from her shoulders. This was just too insane. She had already braced herself to take the blame, fully prepared to steal her sister's fiancé if she had to. But who would have thought? She didn't even need to steal him. He just walked away on his own. Shen Qingqiu stared at the jade pendant in the palm of her hand, a huge smile breaking across her face. She couldn't help but gasp, "Mom, are you serious? That Gu Chen actually came to break off the engagement himself?" "Ha ha, well, isn't that a win for everybody? I guess Gu Chen actually has some self-awareness. He probably realized he wasn't good enough for me, so he backed out while he could." Hearing her say not good enough, both Mother Shen and Shen Yue winced hard. Where the hell was this brat getting her confidence? Mother Shen stared at her foolish daughter, her eyes filled with naked disappointment and icy anger. Exhausted, she massaged her temples, letting out a heavy sigh. "You have absolutely no idea how the real world works. You are the one who isn't good enough for Gu Chen. Mark my words, one day you're going to regret this so much it'll make you sick. You'll finally realize exactly what you threw away." But Shen Qingqiu just rolled her eyes and scoffed, completely unbothered. "Why do you always make Ziteng sound completely worthless? He's not just handsome, his grades are always at the top of the class too. He's ranked in the top 10 of our grade for 4 exams straight. Plus, he taught himself 4 different foreign languages. He can already switch between multiple languages fluently. He's such an amazing and hardworking guy. How can you treat him like he's nothing?" Shen Qingqiu was getting more worked up by the second. That Gu Chen is just riding on his family's filthy money. It's not like our family needs to rely on an arranged marriage anyway. Honestly, that Gu Chen can't even compare to a single strand of Ziteng's hair. "Shut your mouth, you ungrateful brat." 2 furious screams exploded through the living room at the exact same time. Shen Yu's eyes were blazing red, glaring fiercely right at her. It was bad enough that this girl was completely blind, but she actually dared to trash Gu Chen's name right in front of them. Seeing her mother and sister explode like that, Shen Qingqiu flinched, genuinely startled. "What is wrong with you two today? Mom, Gu Chen literally just met you one time. Why are you defending him so hard? And you too, sis." Shen Qingqiu gritted her teeth, her face full of stubborn defiance. "That Gu Chen is seriously manipulative. He comes over one time and totally brainwashes both of you. I bet this whole broken engagement is just him playing hard to get. He's totally using this as a trick to hook my sister. A scheming jerk like him, I wouldn't take him even if you gave him to me for free." Listening to Shen Qingqiu spew more and more ridiculous nonsense, Mother Shen finally snapped. She raised her hand and delivered a sharp, echoing slap right across her face. Her fingers were trembling with pure rage. She pointed right at Shen Qingqiu's nose and screamed, "You are absolutely hopeless. Get back to your room this instant and think about what you've done." Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the massive headache of breaking off that engagement was finally over. I felt completely relaxed, sitting at the dining table, I looked over at my uncle with a bright smile. Uncle, can I head over and register at the new school today? Gu Chen looked at his nephew's absolutely flawless face, secretly thinking that a face like that was going to cause absolute chaos the second he walked on campus. But seeing my earnest, hopeful expression, he thought about it for a second, and finally spoke with a warm, affectionate smile. Don't worry, I've got everything sorted out at the school. You can start whenever you feel like it. Plus, the teaching style overseas is quite different from what we have here at home. So don't panic if you feel a bit out of place at first. Just take it slow, you'll be fine. I gave a polite little nod, keeping my voice gentle. Thank you for looking out for me, uncle. I'll do my absolute best. The most excited person right then was my cousin, Gu Ninan. The second he heard the news, he literally jumped up and down on the spot. This is awesome, now we get to go to school together every single day. Seeing how adorably hyped up he was, I couldn't help but smile, my eyes crinkling at the corners. Sounds great to me. Gu Ninan's face instantly turned bright red. He quickly slapped both hands over his cheeks. Just hearing his older cousin's gentle voice was enough to send his heart racing. Oh crap, don't tell me I'm actually falling for him? But I'm a guy too. And worse, he's literally my first cousin. What the hell do I do? Am I actually turning gay? A few incredibly suggestive, heart-stopping images suddenly flashed through Gu Ninan's mind, making his face burn even hotter. Terrified by his own thoughts, he furiously shook his head, watching her son act like such a jumpy idiot. Aunt Qiyu turned to glance at the perfectly poised and elegant Gu Chen, and let out a heavy sigh. Forget it, there was just no comparison. Her foolish son couldn't even hold a candle to a single strand of Gu Chen's hair. After a warm and happy family breakfast, Gu Ninan and I piled into the backseat of the car. Since I had just moved back from abroad, I hadn't gotten my school uniform yet. So I just wore my own everyday clothes today. I specifically picked out a really well-tailored button-down shirt. The moment I got in the car, that outfit left both Gu Ninan and our friend Wang Yan completely speechless. By the time the three of us rushed to the school gates, there were only a few minutes left before morning homeroom. I quickly shooed them off to their classrooms, telling them I could easily find my own way to the director's office to check in. Just then, the school bell suddenly rang out, but Lin Xiaoyu couldn't have cared less. She had just stepped through the gates when her eyes were completely glued to a figure standing just a short distance away. The morning sunlight traced a soft, golden halo around him. He looked like some ethereal spirit just wandering through the campus. Driven by some inexplicable urge, she completely ignored the rush to class, and silently trailed after him from a distance, her heart fluttering completely out of control. Without realizing it, I had wandered deep into the heart of the campus. To my surprise, I stumbled upon a crystal-clear lake, where a few elegant black swans were leisurely gliding across the water. One of them, looking especially tiny and cute, paddled closer to the shore, playfully splashing around in the shallows. That adorable little thing instantly melted my heart. I just couldn't resist crouching down and gently reaching out my fingers towards it. Well, hello there, little swan. The little guy surprisingly wasn't scared of people at all. It gave two happy little honks and waddled right up to me, even softly nuzzling its head against my fingertips. Seeing that, a warm smile spread across my face. But right at that moment, a crisp, youthful girl's voice rang out behind me. I'd highly suggest you don't mess with those. They're super territorial. They will totally bite you. I turned toward the voice, and the exact second my eyes met the girl standing behind me, Lin Xiaoyu felt like the entire world had just slammed on the pause button. The boy in front of her looked like he had walked straight out of a painting. Like a piece of utterly flawless jade, she stood there, completely spellbound, unable to tear her eyes away. She had never imagined that someone this breathtaking could actually exist in the real world. It was as if a million stars would lose their brilliance next to him. That is, until the sharp honk of the little black swan shattered the silence. Lin Xiaoyu suddenly snapped out of it, an awkward blush creeping onto her cheeks. She couldn't help but take a few steps toward me, her voice trembling a bit. I just wanted to give you a heads up, I said, flashing her a bright, easy smile. Thank you for the heads up. But it was this casual, effortless smile that made Lin Xiaoyu's heart skip a beat all over again. She desperately pushed down the flutter in her chest and carefully tested the waters. Are you looking for someone here? I shook my head. No, I'm actually a new transfer student here. Just started today. I just haven't checked in yet. I glanced around, adding with a slight frown. Oh, by the way, do you happen to know where Director Wu's office is for the seniors? A senior transfer? An unexplainable sense of dread rose in Lin Xiaoyu's chest, but she still clung to a tiny, fragile thread of hope. Her voice carried a tightness she didn't even notice herself. Could you tell me your name? Still smiling, I met her gaze openly. Nice to meet you. I'm Gu Chen. Gu Chen. Those two words exploded in Lin Xiaoyu's mind like a sudden crack of thunder. That very last shred of hope shattered into pieces. She felt like she had been plunged straight into a freezer. A piercing chill crept up from the soles of her feet, taking over her entire body. How could it be him? The rumored young master of the Gu family. Shen Qingqiu's fiancé. She tried desperately to force a smile, but the corners of her mouth were completely frozen. All she could manage was a bitterly stiff expression. Hi, I'm Lin Xiaoya. Her voice was trembling uncontrollably. I'm a senior, too. I'll take you to Director Wu. The girl's already delicate face was now deathly pale, and with a sudden wash of sorrow in her eyes, she looked incredibly fragile and heartbreakingly pitiful. I immediately noticed something was off, and couldn't help but ask her with genuine concern. Are you feeling okay? You're looking really pale. I'm fine. Lin Xiaoya forced herself to snap out of it. She gave a quick shake of her head and immediately spun around to lead the way, acting almost like she was running away from something. Let's hurry. And so, she led the way forward. But right at that moment, we happened to walk right past one of the main academic buildings. Classes were in full swing. A student sitting by the window was staring outside, completely zoned out. However, the second she lifted her head, her eyes locked dead onto the scene outside. She froze as if she'd been struck by lightning. Right outside the window, I was strolling by, looking like I was practically glowing in the bright sunlight. My skin looked clearer and fairer than jade, and my short, jet black hair caught the light with a soft shine. I looked too unbelievably handsome to even be real. Holy crap. The girl's eyes went wide with pure disbelief, her jaw dropping so low you could have stuffed an egg right in it. Oh my god, what a hottie. She shrieked. Her scream was like a heavy rock dropped into a quiet lake, instantly sending massive ripples through the room. Wait, a hottie? Where? The other students sitting near the window immediately craned their necks to see what was going on. And then, a chorus of sharp gasps echoed through the classroom. The commotion spread like wildfire. The entire class just absolutely exploded. Even the teacher up at the podium couldn't get them to quiet down. What on earth are you all looking at? The teacher snapped, marching over to the window in sheer annoyance. But when she followed the students' gazes, she froze on the spot. The boy looked so pure and innocent, he was like Apollo himself coming down to earth. Amidst the commotion, one bold student laughed and teased. See, Miss, do you believe us now? The teacher snapped out of it, her face flushing bright red. But she quickly put her stern mask back on. She scoffed, slammed her hand on the desk, and scolded them. Alright, eyes back up front. No matter how hot he is, he's not yours. But your grades are yours. Get into a good college, and you'll find plenty of cute guys there. Despite the teacher's practiced pep talk, those burning gazes in the classroom were still glued to the figure outside the window, completely entranced. Watching this absolute chaos, Lin Xiaoya furrowed her brows. He was just walking by, and an entire classroom totally lost their minds over him. A sudden wave of annoyance, and unexplainable possessiveness, welled up inside her. Just then, I stopped in my tracks, looking completely lost. My eyes, clear as a mountain spring, were filled with pure confusion. It was like I was silently asking her, why are they acting like this? That innocent look made Lin Xiaoya's heart skip a beat. How could he be at fault? He's just breathtakingly gorgeous. If anyone was to blame, it was those creeps for losing all sense of decency. A fierce wave of protectiveness rushed over her. Lin Xiaoya's eyes turned icy and sharp. She shot a vicious glare through the classroom windows. A few students recognized her, and instantly ducked their heads in terror. Here at Mingde High, just the name Lin Xiaoya was enough to strike fear. The commotion finally started to die down. Lin Xiaoya walked me to the office door, letting out a soft sigh of relief. Xiaoya, thank you so much. I pressed my palms together and gave a little bow. I looked unbelievably sweet and obedient. Seeing me like this, a flicker of amusement danced in her dark eyes, and before she could stop herself, she blurted out. Well, if you're that thankful, you should buy me lunch. I paused for a second, but quickly nodded my head. Sure, let's swap numbers then. Looking at the brand new contact on her phone, Xiaoya couldn't stop the corners of her lips from curling up. It was like she just scored a rare treasure. Alright then, I'll come find you at lunch. Hurry up and get to class. After watching her walk away, it suddenly hit me. I already had lunch plans with Gu Chen today. But on second thought, what's the harm in adding one more to the mix? So, I tucked my phone away, took a deep breath, and walked into the office. Hello, teachers. Is Director Du here? My voice was clear and soft, making every single teacher in the room look up at the exact same time. There stood a jaw-droppingly gorgeous boy, standing tall right at the doorway. Inside the office, it was like their eyes were glued to a magnet, every single one locked onto the boy at the door. I peered inside, looking a little confused. A few seconds of dead silence passed. Since nobody answered, I had to ask again. Excuse me, is Director Du here? That finally snapped everyone out of their trance. Everyone's eyes immediately shot toward the corner, landing on a slightly chubby, middle-aged man. He hastily stood up and practically jogged over to greet me. You must be Gu, right? His face was plastered with a heavily fawning smile. Come in, come in. He ushered me over to his own desk and had me sit down. Then, he pulled open a drawer and took out a brand new packet of tea leaves. With practiced movements, he brewed a cup of tea and handed it to me. The sharp-eyed teachers around us immediately recognized it. It was the premium Da Hong Pao tea that Director Hao couldn't even bear to drink himself on a normal day. For a moment, the crowd exchanged knowing glances. It seemed this new transfer student wasn't just incredibly handsome, his background was definitely not to be messed with. Qingqiu, you must be thirsty, huh? I just brewed a little something. I'm not sure if it'll be to your taste. Director Hao rubbed his hands together, his heavily wrinkled face blooming into a massive smile. I took the teacup and took a light, gentle sip. My posture was perfectly elegant. Thank you, Director. The tea is wonderful. Oh my, your uncle already gave me a heads up. Director Hao smiled even more brightly. You brought all your documents, right? I'll get your enrollment sorted right away. I pulled my paperwork out of my bag and handed it over. Director Hao quickly flipped through it. After verifying everything, he suggested, well now, Gu. Since you just got back from Country F, you'd probably feel much more at home in the international class. How about I put you in the international class? But, I simply shook my head. My tone was perfectly calm, yet completely firm. Sir, I want to be in the honors class. Director Hao's hand suddenly froze. He figured I must have scouted out the school beforehand. He patiently explained, the honors class is strictly assigned by grades. The quota is capped at exactly 50 students. If you can't get the test scores to match, even if you got in, you wouldn't last a single month. It'll just look bad on you in the end. Hearing this, not only did I not back down, I actually met his gaze with a faint smile in my eyes. I'm well aware of all that, sir. And that is exactly why I want to go. As for my grades, you can pull out absolutely any exam paper for me. If I meet the standard, let me into the honors class. If I don't, I will gladly go to whatever class you put me in, without a single complaint. How does that sound? Looking at my overwhelmingly confident demeanor, Director Hao actually couldn't bring himself to refuse me. In his eyes, I was just a quiet, delicate-looking kid who had just returned from overseas. My Chinese probably wasn't even fully fluent yet. How could I possibly handle the intense difficulty of a domestic high school exam? But, since I had already laid down the challenge, he couldn't exactly just reject me to my face. He let out a heavy sigh, and dug a test paper out from a cabinet, handing it over to me. I took one quick look at it. Then, I hopelessly pointed out, Director Hao, this looks like a sophomore year exam paper. Oh, my old eyes must be failing me. Director Hao's wrinkled face flushed red under everyone's watchful eyes. Forced to abandon his little scheme, he pulled out a different exam paper. This is last month's senior year mock exam. It's only fair if we use this one. Once I confirmed it was the right one, I picked up my pen and started answering the questions without a single second of hesitation. Watching me write at such lightning speed, Director Hao couldn't help but feel a sudden wave of doubt wash over him. Could he actually know how to do it? Meanwhile, in the senior year honors class, Zhang Shui kept glancing at the door, her mind completely distracted. A pen spun rapidly between her fingers. Class was already half over, but she hadn't turned a single page of the textbook on her desk. Sitting right next to her, Du Ziteng noticed something was off. He gently nudged her arm with the end of his pen and whispered with concern. Zhang Shui, are you feeling okay? Zhang Shui snapped back to reality, meeting his worried gaze. Her heart warmed a little, and her voice softened. Just focus on the lesson. But Du Ziteng unconsciously pressed his lips into a tight line. A nagging sense of unease crept in. He couldn't shake the feeling that Zhang Shui was hiding something from him. So, he nudged her again with his elbow. Hey, Zhang Shui, thanks for walking me home last night. How about I buy you lunch today? He wanted to take advantage of Shen Qingqiu being away, to dig a little deeper into this new guy, Gu. Zhang Shui had been so vague about it last night, and no matter what, he was determined to get the truth out of her today. But Du Ziteng never could have imagined that Zhang Shui, who usually agreed to his every request, would reject him so flatly this time. Zhang Shui replied without missing a beat. I already have plans for lunch. You should go eat with the others. Du Ziteng froze. Plans? With who? As far as he knew, Zhang Shui didn't really have anyone else in this school besides him. She was always a lone wolf, being the #1 student in their grade. So many people had tried to cozy up to her ever since they started high school, only to be shot down with cold indifference. He was the sole exception, all because they were childhood friends. That special bond of growing up together was something Du Ziteng took immense pride in. But now, this sudden cold shoulder made his petty temper flare up instantly. He let out a heavy, indignant scoff, and sharply turned his head away. If she didn't try to coax him this time, he was never going to talk to her again. But the moment the bell rang, Zhang Shui walked straight out of the classroom without even a backward glance. Staring at her vanishing figure, a sharp, overwhelming sense of panic washed over Du Ziteng. It felt like something incredibly precious was slipping right through his fingers. What he didn't know, however, was that the very guy he was so desperate to investigate was currently brewing up an absolute storm in the teacher's office. By the time the first period ended, I had already finished 3 entire exam papers. The teachers grabbed the papers and immediately started grading them. First up was the math exam. As bright red checkmarks filled the pages one after another, the grading teacher's expression shifted from mild surprise to absolute shock. By the time he reached the last page, the teachers exchanged glances, every single one of them seeing pure disbelief in the other's eyes. A perfect score of 150 points. Mind you, the highest score anyone had ever gotten on this paper was barely a 140. What was even more mind-blowing was that I barely paused for a single second while taking it. It was as if I already knew every answer by heart. Director Do's hands were literally trembling as he held the paper. This kid is an absolute genius. Right after that, the results for the other 2 exams came out. 2 more perfect scores. By now, the commotion in the office had drawn the attention of every teacher present. Mr. Wang, the homeroom teacher of the honors class, had just finished his lecture and rushed over after hearing the news. When he found out his class was about to welcome a literal genius. Smiling so wide he couldn't close his mouth, but when he got a good look at my face, he was so stunned he actually covered his mouth. There I was, quietly looking down at my test, completely tuning out the noise around me, my intense focus, and the way my pen glided so smoothly across the paper. It all gave off this indescribable elegance. Mr. Wang couldn't take his eyes off me. For a split second, it was like he was looking at a prince straight out of a fairy tale. At that exact same time, a post completely blew up on the school's online forum during the break. Oh my god, a loud gasp shattered the quiet hallway, and curious students immediately started clicking on the post. More and more gasps echoed down the hall. The photo in the post, showing a boy walking in the sunlight, was just so unreal, so breathtakingly handsome, that every single person who saw it was absolutely floored. I found him. He's the new senior transfer student that just got here today. He's taking a test in the senior teacher's office right now. Someone suddenly screamed down the hallway. Before the echo even faded, all the students who had seen the post rushed straight for the office, instantly packing the place so tight you couldn't even drop a pin. They all just wanted to catch a glimpse of this gorgeous guy in person. Zhang Shui was stuck outside the massive crowd, trying to push her way in over and over, but kept getting shoved back out. Staring at this solid wall of people, she looked absolutely furious. Meanwhile, back in the classroom, Du Ziteng watched everyone losing their minds, looking completely lost. He quickly grabbed a classmate and asked urgently, "What the hell is going on? Did a celebrity show up or something?" The classmate was practically shaking with excitement, rambling incoherently. "Just look at the school forum, man. I swear, he is ridiculously hot." Du Ziteng pulled out his phone, totally skeptical. He saw that dozens of the top posts all had a bright red hot tag next to them. He tapped on the very top one, and when he finally got a clear look at the picture, his eyes totally glazed over. He finally understood why everyone was going so crazy. The guy in the photo was so flawless he didn't even look real. A sudden wave of pure panic gripped his chest. If someone like that is transferring here, won't he literally steal everyone's attention? The faces of Zhang Shui and Shen Qingqiu instantly flashed through Du Ziteng's mind. He desperately tried to convince himself. No way. They aren't that shallow. They wouldn't just fall for a pretty face. It's me that they like. They'd never change their minds that easily. But right at that moment, the massive uproar in the hallway finally caught the teacher's attention. The head of discipline stormed out, scowling. "What on earth are you all doing gathered out here? Are you trying to start a riot? Get your butts back to class right now." He glared at the reluctant crowd, and barked one last warning. "Whoever is still standing here in 2 seconds is going straight to the track to run 10 laps for the entire period." Terrified by the dean's authority, the students had no choice but to scatter. While the world outside was completely flipping upside down, I just sat there in the office like absolutely nothing was happening, calmly gliding through my test paper. This unshakable calm just made the teachers watching me admire me even more, as if I was some kind of absolute genius born to take exams. The 10-minute break flew by in a flash. As the bell rang for the next class, Zhang Shui silently trudged back to the classroom, completely bummed she didn't get to see the guy she wanted. But Du Ziteng caught every single bit of that disappointed look on her face, and his expression instantly darkened. Wait, did Zhang Shui actually go try to sneak a peek at that new guy too? As soon as that thought crossed his mind, he felt this intense, blind rage shoot straight up to his head. He gripped his pen so hard he nearly snapped it, leaving a stark drop of ink on the textbook. I breezed through 6 exam papers in just half a class period. I put down my pen and let out a long, heavy sigh of relief. Even with the essay section completely blank, my scores were more than enough to absolutely crush the elite class. Mr. Li, who had been watching the entire time, was so thrilled he could barely contain himself. After confirming my scores made the cut, Mr. Li grabbed my hand tightly. Gu Chen, from now on, I am your homeroom teacher. Now that you're in my class, I promise I'll look out for you. I gave a polite little nod, a faint smirk tugging at the corners of my mouth. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Seeing my incredibly handsome face. He looked like he wanted to just kidnap me and adopt me on the spot. Right after that, Mr. Lee led me straight to the elite class. He was in exceptionally high spirits the whole way there, even aggressively interrupting the English teacher, Ms. Wang, right in the middle of her lesson. Excuse the interruption, I just need a few minutes. I have an announcement to make. The English teacher tactfully stepped aside from the podium. Mr. Lee's expression turned dead serious. Today, we have a new transfer student joining our class. As soon as the words left his mouth, the elite students all exchanged shocked glances. A massive wave of excitement instantly swept through the room. Wait, is it that gorgeous guy who's been all over the school forums? Is he actually transferring into our class? Everyone looked absolutely hyped. The classroom erupted into a frenzy of whispers. Mr. Lee frowned slightly, slamming his hand hard on the desk. Quiet down. What is all this racket? Other classes are trying to study. Act like the elite students you're supposed to be. Once the room fell completely silent, Mr. Lee nodded in satisfaction. He then turned toward the doorway. Gu Chen, you can come in now. In a flash, every single pair of eyes in the room locked dead onto the door. The very next second, I took a slow, deliberate step into the classroom. The sheer visual impact of my presence hitting them was 100 times more powerful than any photo. It was like Hercules himself had just descended to earth. With just a casual, sweeping glance around the room, I shattered everyone's defenses in an instant. At that moment, the entire class, guys and girls alike, were completely mesmerized by my looks. Flashing a smile as warm as the winter sun, I instantly softened the intense atmosphere. Hey, everyone, my name is Gu Chen. I just moved back from France. It's great to meet you all. My voice was deep, resonant, and commanding, like absolute music to their ears. But the moment the words left my lips, Du Ziteng's hand jerked violently, his pencil case clattering loudly onto his desk. All the color drained from his face, making him look like he was free falling into an endless abyss. How is this even possible? He panicked internally. Shen Qingqiu's fiancé, Gu Chen. He actually looks like that? So insanely intimidating? He clenched his fists so hard his knuckles turned white, his whole body trembling uncontrollably. If Shen Qingqiu were here right now, she probably would have pulled him into a heartbreaking embrace by now. But these elite students couldn't care less about his pitiful act. Normally, Shen Qingqiu would be all over him in class, even bossing other classmates around to run errands for them. Everyone in the room knew all about Du Ziteng and Shen Qingqiu's toxic, melodramatic romance. And me, as Shen Qingqiu's actual fiancé, I already had quite the reputation. So now that the real deal had suddenly shown up in person, the whole class couldn't help but ruthlessly compare the two of us. Is Shen Qingqiu completely blind? How could she pick Du Ziteng? The mocking stares from all around the room left Du Ziteng squirming like he was sitting on pins and needles. Only to find them staring right at me, looking absolutely mesmerized. Du Ziteng couldn't handle the crushing sense of inferiority anymore. He collapsed onto his desk and just bawled his eyes out. Teacher Lee frowned, his face full of disgust. At that moment, I looked at the sobbing Du Ziteng, let out a soft sigh, my voice deep and steady. Let me clear something up right now. Hearing this, the whole class held their breath. My gaze was ice cold. Shen Qingqiu and I have had an arranged engagement since we were kids. But that was just a silly joke made by our elders. I suddenly shifted my tone, my words echoing with authority. I went abroad when I was 3 years old. So Shen Qingqiu and I are complete strangers. We have absolutely no feelings for each other. Last night, I officially broke off the engagement. The moment I said that, the whole room erupted in shock. Then, I dropped another bombshell. As for Du Ziteng and Shen Qingqiu, I sincerely wish them the best. I looked at the crying Du Ziteng, my eyes full of absolute sincerity. Ziteng is a great guy. They truly love each other, and they shouldn't be tied down by some pointless, forced engagement. So please, everyone, join me in wishing them all the best. Thank you. After that speech, everyone's impression of me completely flipped. Our class idol wasn't just ridiculously handsome, he had a heart of gold too. He was just so incredibly mature. Remembering how they had all placed bets on me earlier, the class felt deeply ashamed. How could they do something like that? Gu Chen was clearly a victim here too. A mysterious glint flashed in Zhang Shui's eyes. He actually broke off the engagement? Even though Du Ziteng was crying, his ears were perked right up. What? They broke it off last night? Then why hadn't Shen Qingqiu breathed a single word of it to him? Every word I said sounded like I was looking out for him. But to him, it felt like a sharp thorn piercing his heart. This feeling, it was like I was some high and mighty king, casually tossing away a piece of trash. And then forcing him to be overwhelmingly grateful for it. Realizing this, Du Ziteng couldn't bring himself to be happy at all. Besides, was a formal family engagement something you could just cancel overnight? I was definitely just putting on a show to win everyone's favor. This guy's scheming. It definitely wasn't that simple. While his mind was racing, my gaze fell softly on him. Ziteng, don't cry. A guy's tears are precious. Slumped over his desk, Du Ziteng stiffened. He hurriedly sat up straight and squeezed out a fake smile. I'm fine. My eyes just hurt a bit. The classmate right behind him practically burst out laughing. What a total fake. You got exactly what you wanted, so quit acting like the victim. The new guy just got here and hasn't even done anything, and he's over here whining and crying. Acting like somebody bullied him. Du Ziteng fiercely clenched his fists, swallowing his anger by sheer force of will. It didn't matter. They were just a bunch of two-faced hypocrites anyway. As long as Shen Qingqiu was his, he would eventually become Mr. Shen. Right at that moment, Teacher Li had someone bring in a new desk, chair, and textbooks. The honors class temporarily grew to 51 students. This also meant that whoever came in last on the next monthly exam would be kicked out. Everyone instantly tensed up. Nobody wanted to be the one to get the boot, forced to leave our new heartthrobs class. Mr. Li scanned the room, trying to figure out exactly where to seat me, so that my studies wouldn't be affected by anyone else. But to his surprise, I spoke up first. Sir, I'll take the single desk in the very back row. Just then, Zhang Shui shot up from her seat. Mr. Li, let me sit in the back with Gu Chen. We actually live together, so it'd be easier for us to study and help each other out. The moment those words left her mouth, the entire class shot her deadly glares. Don't think we don't know exactly what you're playing at. The mere thought of Zhang Shui getting to live under the same roof as the school idol made more than a few people quietly clench their fists. But before Mr. Li could even respond, I shut her down completely. Zhang Shui, I want to sit alone. This brutally blunt rejection drained all the color from her face in an instant. She forced a stiff, awkward smile, and could barely choke out a tiny, okay. She slumped back down into her seat, absolutely radiating the crushing sting of rejection. And Du Ziteng, who was watching this whole scene unfold, found it incredibly unbearable to watch. He let out a bitter scoff from the sidelines, his fingernails digging so violently into his palms that they left deep, painful marks. In that moment, it finally hit him. Zhang Shui's heart belonged entirely to me now. No wonder she was totally zoning out last period. It was all because of Gu Chen. All that crap about treating him well forever was pure bullshit. A moment later, Mr. Li stepped back up to the podium. Looking dead serious, he announced, listen up. I know you all appreciate having such a good-looking new classmate. But this is your senior year. Every single one of you needs to have your mind locked strictly on your studies. Don't think for a second that just because you made it into the honors class, you can kick back and relax. There is always someone better out there. Always a higher mountain to climb. Right after that, Mr. Li announced my entrance exam scores to the entire class. Gu Chen, aside from leaving his literature essay completely blank, in every single other subject, he scored an absolute perfect 100%. As soon as he dropped that bomb, a massive, collective gasp echoed through the room. Perfect scores on everything? He's drop dead gorgeous, and his grades are this incredibly insane? Hearing those scores, Du Ziteng's face instantly went totally dark. He couldn't even force a fake smile anymore. But Mr. Li apparently wasn't done yet. His voice turned freezing cold as he issued a warning. If any of you get any twisted ideas about bothering Gu Chen, you'd better take a long, hard look in the mirror first and see if you measure up. Also, if kids from the other classes dare to come around here harassing him, you all know exactly what to do, right? Hearing that, the whole class got fired up, fiercely shouting out. Protect our heartthrob. We absolutely won't let anyone from the other classes mess with him. Mr. Li nodded in satisfaction. Having laid down the law, he turned and marched right out of the room. In the blink of an eye, the dismissal bell rang. The news that I had officially broken off my engagement with Shen Qingqiu grew wings, instantly spreading to every single corner of the campus. It was only then that everyone realized in total shock that the gorgeous new school idol wasn't just the mega-rich heir of the Gu family. Right now, he was actually completely single. Staring at the breaking news on her phone, Lin Xiaoya just couldn't stop the corners of her lips from curling into a massive smirk. Without a second of hesitation, she immediately fired off a text to me. Gu Chen tilde, what do you feel like having for lunch today? I had the cafeteria prepare things in advance. However, before she could even get a reply, the phone in her hand was suddenly snatched away by her best friend next to her, Zhang Yue. Zhang Yue read the words on the screen in a mocking tone. Gu Chen, what do you want to eat today? Lin Xiaoya's expression shifted slightly as she snatched the phone right back. She shot her a fierce glare. Don't touch my phone. Zhang Yue crossed her arms and stared at her with a wicked smirk, saying, when did you guys add each other on WeChat? Have you been secretly seeing him? Lin Xiaoya let out a helpless sigh. We just bumped into each other at the school gates this morning. Now that his engagement with Shen Qingqiu is off, it's perfectly normal for me to want to be friends with him. But Zhang Yue just patted her on the shoulder to remind her. That's your bestie's ex-fiancé. Are you really going to go after him? Aren't you worried it'll make Shen Qingqiu sick? Lin Xiaoya's eyes turned cold. So what if it does? She gets to date whoever she wants. So why can't I? Shen Yue dropped her smile, her tone turning serious. Girl, Gu Chen is definitely drop dead gorgeous, but a guy like him could be a beautiful rose full of deadly thorns. Don't fall too deep, or you're the one who's going to end up getting hurt. Lin Xiaoya avoided Shen Yue's gaze. Thanks for the warning, but I know exactly what I'm doing. Seeing that she couldn't talk her out of it, Shen Yue went back to her usual relaxed self, taking the chance to demand that she tag along for lunch. Otherwise, she'd go straight to Shen Qingqiu and snitch. Left with no other choice, Lin Xiaoya just rolled her eyes and grudgingly agreed. Noon came around. At the entrance to the cafeteria, what was supposed to be a date for just the two of us turned into a crowd, with Jiyu Ninan and Zhang Shui trailing right behind me. As the two groups came face to face, the atmosphere instantly dropped into a bizarre, awkward silence. Looking at the highly defensive looks on the other two girls' faces, Lin Xiaoya felt pretty awkward. Seeing this, I casually spoke up to clear the air. I made plans with Anan and Zhang Shui this morning to grab lunch together. So I brought them along. You don't mind, do you? Lin Xiaoya forced a polite smile. Of course I don't mind. The more the merrier. We're all friends here, right? Just then, Shen Yue boldly stepped forward, flashing a bright smile to introduce herself. Hi there, I'm Shen Yue. Then, raising an eyebrow, she added in a teasing tone, Hey, handsome. You don't mind adding one more to the mix, do you? I smiled back at her. Sure thing, you can just call me Gu Chen from now on. However, this lunch turned out to be an absolute minefield. Jiyu Ninan and Zhang Shui, who normally couldn't stand the sight of each other, miraculously joined forces for once. They sat there glaring daggers at the two women across from us, while I was the only one acting totally normal. Casually enjoying my food, Zhang Shui shot icy glares at Lin Xiaoya and Shen Yue. On the surface, one of these girls was a two-faced snake, and the other was hiding daggers behind her sweet smiles. In the past, they used to mock me in public over and over again just to impress Du Ziteng. They always painted me as some shameless loser throwing myself at Shen Qingqiu, no matter how much I bent over backwards to please them. In their eyes, Shen Qingqiu's only official boyfriend is, and always will be, Du Ziteng. Birds of a feather flock together. Deep down, they're exactly the same kind of people as Shen Qingqiu. A pure, innocent smile played on my lips, making me look like some untouchable, perfect angel. But what I was really plotting deep down, nobody had a clue. Right then, Lin Xiaoya's eyes were practically brimming with absolute obsession and desire. Even Shen Yue, who usually only went for muscle guys, froze the second she caught my smile. Her heart started pounding like crazy, a sudden, electrifying thrill shooting straight through her body. Zhang Shui, on the other hand, sat there looking incredibly dark and gloomy. Her eyes were terrifyingly dark as she watched all these women fawning over me. Her possessiveness was practically exploding. She looked like she wanted to snatch me up and hide me away right that second. Meanwhile, a luxury car came screeching to a halt at the school gates. Shen Qingqiu stepped out, looking absolutely annoyed. She had totally planned on skipping class today. But her mother, Zhang Xiao, had ruthlessly forced her to come. Her mom had even laid down an ultimatum. If her rank didn't jump up 50 spots on the next exam, her allowance would be completely cut off. She knew damn well why. It was definitely the shock from Gu Chen calling off their engagement. She was going to settle this score with that bastard, sooner or later. Shen Qingqiu marched into the classroom, noticing that Lin Xiaoya and Shen Yue were nowhere to be seen. So, she happily dialed Du Ziteng's number, eagerly imagining how thrilled he'd be when he heard about the cancelled engagement. She thought he'd be over the moon. But, the second the call connected, she heard the sound of heavy sobbing on the other end. Qingqiu. Her heart dropped. She quickly pressed him. What's wrong? What happened? Du Ziteng was just sniffling and crying into the phone, while Wang Yan started screaming furiously in the background. Shen Qingqiu, your boyfriend is getting bullied half to death over here. Get your ass over here, right now. Shen Qingqiu's face instantly turned pale with rage. She slammed the phone shut and bolted straight for the rooftop. The moment she burst through the doors, she saw Du Ziteng buried in Wang Yan's arms, crying his eyes out. He looked so incredibly pitiful. Shen Qingqiu rushed over, frantically pulling him up. Who did this? Tell me who touched you, she demanded. Du Ziteng just shook his head again and again, biting his lower lip, refusing to say a word. Wang Yan couldn't stand it anymore, blurting out the truth in a fit of anger. Who else do you think it is? It's your precious fiancé, Gu Chen. Not only did he transfer into our class, he actually announced the broken engagement in front of everyone. Now the whole school is calling Ziteng a scheming snake. They're calling him a shameless home wrecker who stole his spot. Hearing that, Shen Qingqiu clenched her fists so hard her knuckles turned white. Veins bulged on her forehead. Ziteng, is what he's saying true? Du Ziteng just cried even harder, looking completely devastated. He let out a pathetic little sigh. sobbing about how nobody like him could never compare to a rich young master like Gu Chen. The moment she heard that, Shen Qingqiu's anger completely shattered any last shred of her sanity. "You've got a lot of nerve, Gu Chen," she roared furiously. "Gu Chen, you just wait and see." With that, Shen Qingqiu stormed right off the rooftop. She swore she was going to get justice for Du Ziteng. "No, don't go, Qingqiu," Du Ziteng called out from behind her, totally faking his attempt to hold her back. As he watched her march away, a dark, triumphant smirk crept up the corners of his mouth. What a brilliant trick, using someone else to do his dirty work. He deliberately wanted to spark a war between Shen Qingqiu and me. She dares to lay even a single finger on me, knowing my temper. Then it'll be completely over for us. This way, even if Shen Qingqiu is blinded by that pretty face, she will ultimately belong to him. Du Ziteng. Then, he grabbed Wang Yan's hand. Feigning panic, he said, "We need to catch up to them, quick. We can't let Qingqiu do something stupid." But in truth, he just had to see this little show with his own eyes to be satisfied. Meanwhile, Shen Qingqiu stormed her way over to the honors class, completely furious. But she found an empty room. She grabbed a random student by the collar and demanded, "Where's Gu Chen?" To her surprise, the student glared at her defensively. "Shen Qingqiu, our campus idol already broke off his engagement with you. Are you still trying to harass him?" Shen Qingqiu was absolutely dumbfounded. Me? Harassing him? Just what kind of Kool-Aid did that scumbag feed them? But the very next second, the entire honors class suddenly surrounded her, every single one of them glaring at her with pure hostility. Shen Qingqiu let out a bitter laugh. These pathetic nerds were actually stepping up to her, just for some transfer student? But right at that moment, a massive wave of screams erupted from the hallway. "Wow, he's coming out. Oh my god, he's so handsome." Shen Qingqiu smirked. "Hey, finally caught you." She immediately dashed out of the classroom. She locked eyes on a tall, stylish figure from behind. Shen Qingqiu let out a disdainful scoff. "Just a pathetic poser. Watch how I tear you apart." Like a raging bull, she charged straight at him, ignoring the frantic screams of the students behind her. "Watch out." I turned around at the sound of the screams. And in that split second, that breathtakingly handsome face filled Shen Qingqiu's vision. She froze completely. She desperately tried to stop. But her momentum dragged her forward, and she slammed brutally into me. With a loud gasp, I was sent flying a full meter away. I crashed heavily onto the floor, and this exact scene was perfectly witnessed by Du Ziteng from a distance. "Ha ha ha ha, serves you right. Let's see you act all high and mighty now." Du Ziteng's gloating laughter pierced the air, but beside him, Wang Yan was so horrified she let go of his hand. That face, now twisting with pure malice, looked like a completely different person from the pitiful boy just moments ago. It hit Wang Yan instantly. She had been used as a pawn. Meanwhile, gasps of absolute horror echoed all around us. Chen, oh my god, are you okay?" Everyone desperately swarmed around me. I furrowed my brow in agony, my lips trembling as I choked out. "It hurts." That fragile, pitiful look on my face instantly set the entire crowd on fire with rage. Their hearts shattered for me. Yet, terrified of hurting their perfect idol even more, they didn't dare to touch me. Instead, they aimed all their fury at the culprit, Shen Qingqiu. But right at that moment, Zhang Shui pushed her way through the crowd, dropping to her knees and pulling me tightly into her arms. "Gu Chen, you're hurt. I'm taking you to the hospital, right now." With that, she held onto me as we turned to leave, leaving behind an absolutely resolute silhouette. Shen Qingqiu stood there completely frozen, watching wide-eyed as I was carried away by another woman. Waking up as if from a dream, she tried to chase after us. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault." But, an iron fist blocked her path. It was Lin Xiaoya. Her eyes were practically spitting fire as she threw punch after punch, landing them ruthlessly on Shen Qingqiu's face. Just then, Du Ziteng rushed over with a scream, throwing his arms wide open to shield Shen Qingqiu. "Lin Xiaoya, are you out of your mind? She's your best friend." "Best friend?" Lin Xiaoya let out a cold laugh, shaking out her hand and dropping a vicious warning. "If anything happens to Gu Chen, I swear I'll make you pay." With that, she walked away without even glancing back. Zhang Shen let out a heavy sigh as well, her eyes filled with nothing but disappointment. "Qingqiu, you're on your own now." The once unbreakable trio completely shattered in an instant. Du Ziteng couldn't believe it. For a guy they barely knew, more than 10 years of sisterhood was tossed aside just like that. He gently stroked Shen Qingqiu's face, his heart aching for her. "Qingqiu, you still have me." But her mind was completely consumed by the agonizing look on my face when I collapsed. Shen Qingqiu violently slapped Du Ziteng's hand away, staggering to her feet. "No, I have to go to the hospital and see him." Du Ziteng's expression nearly cracked right then and there. He gritted his back teeth fiercely, forcing out a look of deep concern. "Qingqiu, you're hurt. Let's get you to the infirmary first. Gu Chen has Lin Xiaoya and the others with him right now." It won't be too late if you just go see him after school. Shen Qingqiu looked at his worried face, and finally nodded. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the doctor pushed up his glasses. It's nothing too serious, just a minor fracture. We'll put it in a cast, and after a few days of rest, you'll be good to go. Everyone finally breathed a collective sigh of relief. But Zhang Shui immediately followed up, asking, "So Dr. Chen, does a situation like this require staying in the hospital?" Zhang Shui's face was completely etched with anxiety, her voice rising in panic. Dr. Chen pushed up his glasses again and replied, "Staying here or going home are both fine, but honestly, I'd recommend checking him in, just to avoid any accidental bumps that could make the injury worse." The moment he said that, before I could even open my mouth, the entire crowd behind me yelled in perfect unison, "Then he's staying. As long as it keeps him from suffering, money is absolutely not an issue." I let out a helpless sigh. "You guys are overreacting. The doctor just said I'm fine." "No way." Gu Ninan immediately fired back. "You have a broken bone. How could it not hurt? Just listen to us for once, okay? Rest up, and leave everything else to us." Having no other choice, I nodded and gave in. Once everything was finally settled, I tried pushing everyone to head back to school for class. But Gu Ninan just put her hands on her hips, stubbornly blocking the doorway. He sneered at the girls around him. "What are you annoying girls trying to stick around for? Trying to take advantage of my brother, huh? Having me, his little brother here, is more than enough. Hurry up and get back to school. Trying to use this chance to get closer to my brother? Not a chance." But Zhang Shui and the others just looked at each other in dismay. Surprisingly, none of them were willing to leave first. I watched the whole thing unfold, and my tone grew a bit harsher. "So, nobody wants to listen, huh? Are you guys trying to make me mad?" Seeing that I was actually about to lose my temper, they finally backed down and left. Once the hospital room returned to complete silence, I leaned back against the headboard, casually reading my book. Suddenly, the heartbroken voice of my system, Tuanzi, rang out in my mind. "Chen, when Shen Qingqiu crashed into you, you totally could have dodged. Why did you take the hit on purpose? It must hurt so much, right?" However, I just curled my lips into a faint smile. My expression turned playful. "You silly little Tuanzi. I took the system's painkillers. How could it possibly hurt? Besides, taking this injury was absolutely worth it. This little scratch is nothing but the very first piece of bait I've cast." Sure enough, the very next second, the room door was shoved wide open. Shen Yue stood at the doorway, panting heavily. It was obvious that she had sprinted all the way here straight from the office. Chen, how are you doing? How did you suddenly fracture your bone?" Shen Yue's face was filled with pure panic as she closed the distance to my bed in just a few long strides. I naturally set my book aside. My already pale face looked even more fragile and pitiful now. "Sister Yu, why did you come?" "I just need a few days of rest, and I'll be fine." Shen Yue gripped my hand tightly. A ruthless, icy gleam flashed deep within her dark eyes. Her voice dropped low. Chen, did someone bully you?" I just turned my head away, staying completely silent. This look of quiet grievance, pretending to be strong, instantly confirmed Shen Yue's suspicions. "Was it that brat, Shen Qingqiu?" Shen Yue's face turned terrifyingly dark. "I know that little sister of mine too well. She's obsessed with her pride and completely unhinged. It's highly likely she's taking revenge after the broken engagement." I frantically shook my head and begged. "Sister Yu, really, it's nothing. Please stop asking." Looking at someone as sweet and forbearing as me, Shen Yue's heart ached terribly. She decided that since I was too gentle to fight back, she would be the executioner, ruthlessly clearing away every single obstacle in my path. Shen Yue stopped pushing for answers, and instead thoughtfully started telling me jokes to cheer me up. Spending the whole afternoon together drew the two of us incredibly close. Who would have thought? Right then, Madame Gu suddenly pushed the door open and walked right in. She immediately spotted Shen Yue and me laughing and chatting. In that brief moment, she actually felt this strange illusion that someone had stolen her precious boy. I smiled and greeted her. "Auntie, you're here." Madame Gu walked over to the bed with a heartbroken expression. Cupping my small face in her hands, she let out a heavy sigh. "Oh, my sweet Chen, just look at this little face of yours. You've lost so much weight." Right after that, Madame Gu turned to look at Shen Yue, her eyes full of intense scrutiny. "And who might this be?" Shen Yue stood up immediately. Looking respectful and serious, she said, "Hello, Madame Gu. I'm Shen Nan's daughter, Shen Yue. From the Shen family?" Madame Gu furrowed her brows deeply. Her face instantly darkened with anger. It was Shen Qingqiu who pushed our Chen and broke his bone. And to think she's supposed to be his fiancé. How dare she be so vicious? Do you really think our Gu family is that easy to push around? Let me tell you, this is far from over. Shen Yue lowered her eyes, standing quietly as she took the scolding. She didn't talk back at all, just quietly agreeing. "Yes, it is entirely our fault. I promise to give Chen a proper explanation and make this right." I quickly grabbed my aunt's hand and said, "Auntie, please don't be angry. I forgot to tell you. I actually broke off the engagement yesterday. Shen Qingqiu has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore." Madame Gu froze for a second, then clapped her hands excitedly. Good riddance. Trash like her was never good enough for our Chen anyway. Don't you worry, your auntie will definitely find someone a million times better for you. Auntie, what are you saying? I'm still young, I protested, my cheeks blushing slightly. My gaze accidentally swept over toward Shen Yue, and that single glance made Shen Yue's throat tighten, completely messing up her breathing. But Madame Gu stepped in front of me like she was guarding against a thief, glaring at Shen Yue with pure hostility. Since we have nothing to do with your family anymore, why are you still standing here? I quickly tried to explain. Sister Yu is my friend. She came here specially to see me. She's a really good person. She's not like Shen Qingqiu at all. Madame Gu just frowned even harder. She looked at Shen Yue like she was a big bad wolf trying to snatch away an innocent little bunny. But since I was there, she held back and didn't just kick her out on the spot. Chen, come, try the pork rib soup your auntie spent all afternoon making. The moment she opened the thermos, the rich, savory smell of the soup filled the entire hospital room. It was completely mouthwatering. I took tiny, careful sips of the warm soup. My eyes sparkled with pure happiness. Watching my cute, satisfied expression, both Madame Gu and Shen Yue couldn't help but smile. But right at that moment, the door to the room violently burst open. Zhang Xiao walked in, dragging Shen Qingqiu behind him. Shen Qingqiu didn't look anything like a gorgeous campus idol anymore. She was completely beaten black and blue. Her face was swollen like a pig's head, making her look absolutely ridiculous. Seeing her like that, I couldn't stop the corners of my mouth from twitching upward into a massive smile. I almost burst out laughing right then and there. What on earth happened? Madame Gu asked, looking completely shocked. Zhang Xiao just backhanded Shen Qingqiu viciously on the back. He roared furiously, "Get on your knees and apologize to Gu Chen right now." Shen Qingqiu kept her head down, slowly shuffling over to the side of my bed. But the moment she looked up and saw my absolutely stunning, flawless face, an overwhelming wave of crushing regret hit her. If she had known earlier that I was this breathtakingly handsome, she'd have to be out of her mind to ever cancel our engagement. Gu Chen, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I raised my cold eyes, my voice ringing clear as a wind chime, yet completely devoid of warmth. I forgive you. Zhang Xiao and Shen Qingqiu's faces were just about to light up with wild joy, but my tone suddenly shifted. However, I also expect Miss Shen to get the hell out of my life from now on. If we bump into each other at school, let's just pretend we don't know each other. It's better for everyone that way. How was that forgiveness? It was a complete and utter cutoff. The smile on Shen Qingqiu's face instantly froze. Just as she was about to beg for mercy, Shen Yue suddenly stepped forward, shielding me behind her back. Her tone was ice cold. That is enough, Shen Qingqiu. Shen is being the bigger person by letting this go. So don't push your luck. Seeing this, Zhang Xiao instantly exploded, pointing a furious finger at Shen Yue. She threatened, "Shen Yue, she is your own flesh and blood. Is this how you act as an older sister?" But surprisingly, Shen Yue broke from her usual character. Staring her mother dead in the eye, her lips parted slightly. "Madam Zhang, given where our relationship stands right now, I'm afraid you have absolutely no right to give me orders." Just one sentence was enough to make Zhang Xiao's hands tremble with rage. "Fine, you little, do you even still consider me your mother?" Shen Yue remained totally silent, but her utterly unfazed expression said it all. Zhang Xiao let out a cold sneer, but when she turned around, she instantly put on a completely different face, speaking to me with a sickly sweet voice. "Oh, Gu Chen, we are truly the ones at fault here, but for the sake of the friendship between me and your mother, please, just forgive Qingqiu, won't you?" Meanwhile, at the door, Du Ziteng was listening, hearing this old woman, who usually treated him like absolute garbage, now desperately trying to suck up to me. The flames of jealousy instantly made his eyes go red. No way, I absolutely cannot let him forgive Shen Qingqiu. The very next second, he violently shoved the door open, and charged into the hospital room like a madman. With a loud thud, Du Ziteng dropped straight to his knees right in front of me. Tears were streaming down his face, crying his eyes out in absolute agony. "Gu Chen, please forgive Qingqiu. Everything she did it all for me. If you want to blame someone, just blame me." The hospital room fell dead silent. Only the sound of Du Ziteng's agonizing sobs echoed in the air. Shen Qingqiu and Zhang Xiao were completely horrified by this sudden spectacle. Their eyes went wide, staring at the kneeling Du Ziteng in sheer, unadulterated shock. How could he just suddenly show up here? They had clearly agreed beforehand that he wasn't allowed to come along. He had offered to apologize, but Zhang Xiao and Shen Qingqiu both felt that would be highly inappropriate. After all, he was the exact reason why the two families were calling off the engagement. They knew if I saw Du Ziteng, I would absolutely lose my temper. But who could have guessed? Du Ziteng would completely ignore their warnings and sneak over here anyway. And now he was spouting all this absolute nonsense. What did he mean? Everything she did was for him. Wasn't he just trying to hint that Shen Qingqiu was madly in love with him? That she would even go as far as hurting Gu Chen for his sake? Madame Gu was practically trembling with rage. Her face livid, she pointed a furious finger right at Du Ziteng. Oh, I see how it is. No wonder Chen suddenly wanted to call off the engagement with your family. So, you guys betrayed the engagement ages ago, and have been hooking up with some side piece outside. Zhang Xiao, how do you even have the nerve to ask my Chen to forgive you? Letting Shen Qingqiu take care of Chen? Everyone from your Shen family needs to get the hell out of here, right now. Zhang Xiao stepped forward with an awkward look on her face, desperately trying to explain. Mrs. Gu, this is just a huge misunderstanding. They're literally just kids playing house. They aren't actually together, right, Qingqiu? Isn't that right? After speaking, she shot Shen Qingqiu a pointed look, frantically signaling her to play along. She was furious. Originally, she had actually liked Du Ziteng. She liked that pure, kind vibe he had, and how he never bowed down to the rich and powerful. But after Shen Qingqiu took that beating, and after Lin Xiaoya and Zhang Xinyu both came to find her that afternoon, the three of them finally talked it out. Shen Qingqiu realized that she really had misunderstood me, falsely assuming that I was the one bullying him. That was exactly why she had flown into a rage out of sheer humiliation. Du Ziteng had just been using her as a weapon. But even so, Shen Qingqiu hadn't completely given up on him. Maybe she thought it was just because Du Ziteng was so terrified of losing her, that he ended up speaking without thinking. But just now, Shen Qingqiu had already made it crystal clear to him. She told him not to come to the hospital. Du Ziteng had agreed perfectly fine to her face, but secretly followed them here anyway, and even barged right in to spew all that nonsense. Shen Qingqiu's rose-tinted glasses for Du Ziteng had completely shattered. Pure, innocent boy, my ass. He played these manipulative little games even better than she did. And so, Shen Qingqiu completely ignored Du Ziteng's begging eyes. She turned and gazed affectionately at me instead, saying, "That's right, Du and I, we were just fooling around. The person I truly like, is someone else." But that swollen, pig-like face of hers paired with that supposedly deep expression was absolutely nauseating. The very next second, I just turned my head to look out the window, completely ignoring her existence. Being shut out like that made Shen Qingqiu feel even more miserable. As for Du Ziteng, his entire body went rigid. His eyes were filled with pure disbelief. How could she deny their relationship so coldly and decisively? Did she really not care about his feelings at all? He sneered inwardly. Women really were all just shallow, opportunistic creatures. However, just as Shen Qingqiu thought this little trick could salvage the situation, the battle-hardened Mrs. Gu saw right through it all. As if she would be fooled by such a cheap trick, Mrs. Gu suddenly started a slow clap. Her face was dripping with sarcasm. "Keep acting. Go on, keep up the act. Do you really take us for a bunch of fools? My Chen is kind-hearted and won't hold it against you, but you guys just had to push your luck. Get the hell out of here, right now, before I have security throw you out." The very next second, Mrs. Gu grabbed the fruit they had brought and hurled it right out the door. Zhang Xiao's face instantly turned livid. As the dignified head of the Shen group, when had she ever suffered such utter humiliation? At that moment, she felt like every last shred of her pride and dignity had been stomped into the dirt. "Fine, Mrs. Gu. We'll leave right now. Chen, take good care of yourself. I'll come back to properly apologize in a few days." After saying that, Zhang Xiao grabbed Shen Qingqiu by the arm and turned to leave. Du Ziteng shot me a vicious glare. He ground his teeth together and hissed, "Gu Chen, don't you dare think you've won." Soon after, he followed the two of them right out of the hospital room. At that moment, Mrs. Gu glared at Shen Yue, who was still standing there. She frowned. "What? Still can't bear to leave, huh?" Putting on a completely innocent face, she said, "Sister Shen Yue, you must be exhausted after keeping me company all afternoon. You should go back and rest." Only then did Shen Yue speak up. "Mrs. Shen, I'll leave, but what I want to tell you and Gu Chen is that Zhang Xiao, her daughter, and I are not on the same side. Our relationship is extremely complicated. I will prove it to you later." Mrs. Gu just lifted her chin, gesturing for her to leave immediately. "I'll be going now, Chen." "Yeah, goodbye, Sister Shen Yue." The second she was gone, Mrs. Shen grabbed my hand. Her eyes filled with worry. "Gu Chen, that Shen Yue might look harmless, but she's still a member of the Shen family. You need to keep your guard up against her." In the blink of an eye, a week passed. I was finally discharged from the hospital. But what I didn't know was that my time in the hospital had set off a massive, catastrophic storm. First was Shen Yue, like a wild beast that had been caged for far too long. She finally bared her fangs. Her voice within the Shen group was carrying more and more weight. Every decision she made was decisive and absolutely ruthless, striking terror into the hearts of everyone who had ever underestimated her. Zhang Xiao was furious, half dead from anger, but completely powerless to stop her. On top of that, the usual social dynamics on campus were also starting to shift. Shen Qingqiu started distancing herself from Du Ziteng, whether intentionally or not. Du Ziteng felt like his heart was being eaten alive by a million ants. He simply couldn't accept the reality of being cast aside. So, time and time again, he tried to corner Shen Qingqiu, desperately hoping to win her back. But to his shock, Shen Qingqiu treated him like he was completely invisible. Watching her cold, distant figure walk away, his heart shattered into a million pieces. He just couldn't understand it. How could a bond that was once unbreakable now shatter at the slightest touch? After hitting a brick wall with Shen Qingqiu, he instinctively went to Zhang Shui to pour his heart out, just like he always did. But he never expected to be met with such unprecedented coldness. Seeing the look on Zhang Shui's face, Du Ziteng bit his lip and stepped forward, feeling incredibly hurt. Zhang Shui, why are you being so cold to me all of a sudden? We used to be so close. Zhang Shui frowned slightly. After a long silence, she replied coldly. Ziteng, we're all grown up now. Some things have changed. It's time you face reality. The truth was, her past fondness for Du Ziteng was never anything more than looking out for a younger brother. It wasn't until she met me that she finally understood what real love was. It was possessive, it made your heart ache, and it made your heart race. And she had never felt any of those things with Du Ziteng. In that moment, she was absolutely certain. She felt zero romantic love for Du Ziteng. Du Ziteng's eyes went wide, and tears instantly streamed down his face. What do you mean we can't be like we used to? After all these years together, you're just giving up, just like that? Zhang Shui sighed helplessly. People change. I can't keep revolving my entire life around you. Besides, you and Shen Qingqiu. Hearing Shen Qingqiu's name, Du Ziteng's face turned even uglier. He cut her off hysterically. What about me and Shen Qingqiu? Is it because of Gu Chen? Shen Qingqiu is ignoring me, and now you're doing it too. What the hell did I do wrong? Tell me. His face was a mask of misery. Shen Qingqiu and I were in love first. And I've known you way longer. Why is it that the second Gu Chen shows up, he's all that you guys can see? What am I supposed to do? Zhang Shui, how could you be so heartless? Du Ziteng's tears streamed down his face like a broken string of pearls. I always thought what we had was special. But you just changed. Just like that. Zhang Shui watched him weeping. A brief flash of pity crossed her heart, but her mind remained razor sharp. She knew if she caved right now, any chance she had with me would be completely dead. At that thought, Zhang Shui hardened her heart and spoke. Ziteng, this is just reality. We have to face it. Take care of yourself. With that, she turned on her heel and walked away without looking back. Du Ziteng stared at her cold, retreating figure, and screamed in absolute despair, Zhang Shui. You're going to regret this. But Zhang Shui didn't even pause. Her figure drifted further and further away, until she completely disappeared from his sight. Du Ziteng clenched his fists, pure venom burning in his eyes. He swore he wouldn't just roll over and take this. Gu Chen, you son of a bitch. I'm going to make you pay. Since all of you are so damn heartless, then I'll make sure none of you get a happy ending. Slowly, Du Ziteng took a deep, shaky breath. A sick, twisted plan began to form in his mind. He suddenly remembered Lin Xiaoya, the friend he used to suck up to just to get on Shen Qingqiu's good side. But who could have guessed? Lin Xiaoya had actually fallen for me, too. Back when I got hurt. He had never seen her look so frantic and worried. Sure enough, Shen Qingqiu quickly found out how Lin Xiaoya felt about me. Boiling with rage, she marched straight up to Lin Xiaoya and confronted her. Lin Xiaoya, what exactly are you trying to pull? Why are you always hovering around Gu Chen? But Lin Xiaoya just offered a faint smile. Shen Qingqiu, that's a really weird question to ask. Gu Chen and I are friends. Isn't it completely normal for me to care about him? Shen Qingqiu's eyes flashed with furious fire. Friends? Do you really think I don't know what you're up to? You don't look at him like a friend at all. Lin Xiaoya's eyes instantly darkened. But she quickly regained her composure. And so what if I have feelings for him? You're the one who threw him away. Does that mean no one else is allowed to treat him well? That struck a major nerve. Shen Qingqiu took a threatening step forward, her aura aggressive. Lin Xiaoya, don't push your luck. You're supposed to be my best friend. Even if Gu Chen and I called off the engagement, I will never let you lay a finger on him. Lin Xiaoya stared right back at her, completely unfazed. Her tone was completely unwavering. Shen Qingqiu, you've already lost Gu Chen. So just stop bothering him. You didn't know how to appreciate him, but I'll protect him in my own way. Shen Qingqiu's face darkened as she gritted her teeth. Lin Xiaoya, don't get too full of yourself. Gu Chen and I, we are not over. I swear I'll make him come back to me. Lin Xiaoya just let out a cold sneer. Shen Qingqiu, you're way too arrogant. Gu Chen isn't some accessory you own. He can make his own choices. He's not just going to come running back just because you want him to. Shen Qingqiu's fists clenched so tight her knuckles cracked. Fine, I guess I was completely blind about you. Lin Xiaoya replied coldly, to think I actually considered you my best friend. From this day on, we're done with each other. Shen Qingqiu spat back fiercely, just you wait and see. I won't let you have your way. And just like that, two former best friends had completely turned on each other, all because of me. Meanwhile, hiding in the shadows, Du Ziteng smirked in disdain. So much for their deep sisterhood. One little tap, and it shatters completely. At the same time, Shen Yue was caught right in the middle. Torn between the two, she tried desperately to mediate the conflict between Shen Qingqiu and Lin Xiaoya. But every single time, it was totally useless. However, whenever Lin Xiaoya came to visit me, she would quietly tag along like a shadow. Her heart was utterly torn and conflicted. She didn't even know if what she was doing was right or wrong. She just couldn't stop her feet, as if she was being pulled in by some invisible force. Later, at a dimly lit bar, Du Ziteng searched around with eager anticipation. Looking everywhere for that familiar silhouette. Finally, tucked away in a corner booth, he found Shen Qingqiu, drinking away her sorrows. She was all alone, with empty bottles scattered all over the table in front of her. She looked completely shattered and defeated. Qingqiu, Du Ziteng called out to her softly. Seeing her hazy, unfocused eyes, he knew she was already blackout drunk. And so, he pretended to be outraged for her. I heard about what Lin Xiaoya did. How could she betray you like that? Especially after how good you've been to her. Just as he expected, the moment she heard Lin Xiaoya's name, Shen Qingqiu instantly flared up with rage. Don't you dare mention her to me. Lin Xiaoya, that backstabbing snake. She doesn't even deserve to be my friend. Seeing her reaction, Du Ziteng quickly played along to comfort her. Okay, we won't talk about her anymore. Qingqiu, let's stop torturing each other, okay? We can start over, completely fresh. Shen Qingqiu's lips parted slightly, but no words came out. More importantly, she didn't push him away. Du Ziteng was instantly overjoyed. To him, this meant she still had feelings for him. So, he immediately pushed his luck. Qingqiu, we used to be so deeply in love. All those beautiful memories we shared. Have you really forgotten them all? With fake tears welling up in his eyes, he gently rested his head against Shen Qingqiu's shoulder. With a slight choke in his voice. I love you. I've always loved you. That has never changed. Right after that, Du Ziteng dropped the most crucial line. Qingqiu, the one who stayed by your side until the very end, is only me. Maybe it was that last sentence that made the atmosphere even heavier. Ziteng, Shen Qingqiu finally spoke, her voice hoarse and low. I'm so sorry. The moment the words left her mouth, Du Ziteng leaned in and kissed her. And surprisingly, Shen Qingqiu hugged him tightly, kissing him back. They were making out like crazy. And just like that, they were back together. After that, as if trying to prove something, Shen Qingqiu treated Du Ziteng even better than before. They were constantly showing off their PDA all over campus. Not only that, I even received a totally fake, manipulative text from him. Brother, Qingqiu and I are very much in love. Since you guys have already called off your engagement, stay away from her from now on. But little did he know. I almost burst out laughing when I saw the photo. People really do show off whatever they lack the most. While he was busy being so smug about getting back together, Du Ziteng immediately turned his sights onto Zhang Shui. He dug out some old keepsakes filled with memories, placed them on his desk, and with tears in his eyes, he said some nonsense about how he missed the past and wouldn't bother her anymore. Sure enough, as Zhang Shui looked at those old things, her expression softened, and she immediately made a promise. If you ever need anything in the future, I'll help you one more time. Du Ziteng turned his back and slowly cracked a smug smile. He had gambled and won again. But what Du Ziteng didn't see coming was that his smugness wouldn't last long. A post completely blew up on the school forum. The title read, "The real reason our campus idol, Gu Chen, ended up in the hospital." The post revealed that the only reason Shen Qingqiu attacked Gu Chen in public was all because her manipulative, two-faced boyfriend cried about being bullied. And Shen Qingqiu, utterly blinded by love, didn't even care about the facts. She just went straight after him for payback, which resulted in Gu Chen getting a broken leg. And he's still in the hospital right now. But the best part was, the post even included solid proof. I had just transferred to the school for less than a morning. I was in the honors class the entire time and never even left the classroom. The whole class could testify for me. I literally didn't say a single word to Du Ziteng, let alone bully him. The post absolutely roasted that toxic couple, furious that not only did they get away unpunished, but they were also parading around school every day, shamelessly showing off their relationship. It was totally shameless. As soon as the post went live, it instantly blew up the school forum. Even though Mingde High is an elite academy, and they usually turn a blind eye to student dating, Shen Qingqiu and Du Ziteng's behavior completely crossed the line and sparked massive public outrage. The students in the honors class straight up signed a joint petition, complaining that the two of them were constantly acting like a couple in class, which was seriously affecting everyone else's studies. At this point, the school couldn't sweep it under the rug anymore. They were forced to write self-reflection letters, and were even made to read them out loud in front of the entire school. With the entire audience glaring at them in disgust, Gu Ziteng looked like he was about to burst into tears. On the other hand, Shen Qingqiu, because she felt deeply guilty toward me after getting back together with him, actually read her apology extra loud. After this whole fiasco, Gu Ziteng became a total laughingstock at school. No matter where he went, the other students were all whispering and pointing behind his back. Look, that's Gu Ziteng. Yep, that's him, hooking up with Shen Qingqiu. Those two toxic trash bags absolutely deserve each other. I know, right? I mean, compared to Gu Chen, he's an absolute joke. He couldn't even hold a candle to him. Exactly, Gu Chen isn't just ridiculously good looking. He's also incredibly sweet and generous. But Gu Ziteng? He acts so innocent, but he's actually rotten to the core. The hallways echoed with relentless mockery, and the classrooms were filled with judgmental stares. The gossip crashed over Gu Ziteng like a tidal wave, completely suffocating him. Even so, he still clung to a desperate shred of denial, convinced that I was the one who made the post. To him, I was just some vicious, scheming bastard. Blaming me made it easier for him to swallow. But he never saw it coming. That the one to finally stab him in the back would be his most trusted friend, Ziteng. When the truth hit him, he completely lost it, storming right over to confront her. Seeing that he actually had the nerve to show his face, Ziteng just scoffed. Did you really think I was still that gullible little idiot you could just play? The only reason Gu Ziteng ever managed to hook a rich girl like her was simply because he once saved her cat. Remembering how she'd been strung along by a guy like him made Ziteng feel absolutely sick to her stomach. Since you wanted to play dirty, then don't blame me for ruining you. She didn't hold back, exposing all of his dirty laundry straight to the campus forum. She made sure the entire school saw Gu Ziteng for the snake he truly was. And naturally, his reaction? Rich people are all exactly the same. Ungrateful backstabbers. Seething with rage, Gu Ziteng had no choice but to storm off. Right about now, as he trudged home, the bitterness was completely eating him alive. Gu Chen, he spat my name through gritted teeth, his eyes burning with sheer venom. He swore that, one day, he'd grind me into the dirt. Meanwhile, I was just chilling comfortably in my hospital suite, listening to Tuanzi enthusiastically rambling on with the latest updates. Chen, I finally get it. You've been fully recovered, but you insisted on staying an extra week, just so you could watch them tear each other apart. I smirked. Exactly, I thought to myself. That's human nature for you. The moment their precious self-interests are threatened, their so-called friendship means absolutely nothing. But Tuanzi was still confused. Wait, your mission to break off the engagement with Shen Qingqiu is already done. So why is the Gu family still on the verge of bankruptcy? Is there some massive conspiracy behind all this that we missed? I let out a soft sigh, finally dropping the bombshell. An industry giant like the Gu Corporation? There is no way Shen Qingqiu could swallow it on her own. The Du and Zhang families have been secretly pouring everything they have into destroying us. But the real mastermind behind the curtain is Zhang Xiao. That woman plays the sweet, doting mother-in-law in public, while secretly using the original host to siphon off classified intel. She is completely ruthless. Because of the engagement, the Gu family trusted them completely, and ended up getting bled dry by the Shens. Zhang Xiao walked away with the biggest prize. But what's really wild is that the pretty boy on campus, Gu Ziteng, his ambition is actually terrifying. To secure his spot in high society, he actually manipulated Shen Qingqiu into helping him hijack her own family's core projects, just to prove his own worth. Seriously, who would have ever thought that the once prestigious Gu family would end up as nothing but a stepping stone for those two miserable scumbags? After all the deceit and backstabbing, the Gu family completely fell apart. The Du family seized the chance to rise to the top, and Gu Ziteng finally got what he always wanted. He married Shen Qingqiu. They lived happily ever after, but who would ever remember the tragic ruin of the Gu family after they went bankrupt? And who would remember the original owner of this body, who ended his own life in pure despair? On the way home, the more I thought about it, the more furious I became. All this time, I was the brightest star at Mingde High School. I looked over at a century-old tree by the side of the road. Even though it had grown into a massive, towering giant with thick, lush branches, it would only take one single saw to cut the whole thing right in half. Once I got back to school, Shen Qingqiu and Gu Ziteng, completely crushed by the pressure of public opinion, had no choice but to apologize to me in person. Shen Qingqiu's eyes were filled with guilt. Gu Ziteng, on the other hand, looked incredibly reluctant. I just looked at them and gave them a gentle smile. It's fine. It's all in the past now. We really just need to focus on our studies for our senior year. As soon as I said that, the crowd around us started sighing, praising their school idol for being so handsome and kind-hearted. And then they looked at Gu Ziteng. who basically looked like a shameless, malicious villain in comparison. Du Ziteng was gritting his teeth so hard they nearly shattered. He thought to himself, this guy was definitely just pretending to be generous to humiliate him. Meanwhile, Shen Qingqiu was standing there, her heart completely tied up in knots. She felt like she had forever lost the right to be with me. Seeing Shen Qingqiu's dazed expression, Du Ziteng immediately grabbed her hand, putting on a pitiful, wronged face. That finally snapped Shen Qingqiu out of it. I can't let Ziteng down again. Just then, I suddenly dropped a bomb. Oh, by the way, Ziteng, those photos you took with Shen Qingqiu are really nice. But, you don't need to send them to me every single day. From now on, just keep them for yourselves to admire. Hearing that, the contemptuous glares from the crowd instantly stabbed into Du Ziteng like sharp knives. His little manipulative green tea tricks were completely exposed. Du Ziteng's face instantly flushed a bright, humiliated red. Shen Qingqiu stared at him in absolute disbelief. Ziteng, why would you do that? Du Ziteng tugged at her shirt, his eyes brimming with tears. I just wanted to let him know that you're happy now. I didn't mean anything else by it. But in Shen Qingqiu's eyes, there was nothing left but deep, heavy disappointment. Without even glancing back, I turned around and walked away, leaving that pathetic couple standing awkwardly in the wind. Du Ziteng's reputation as a shameless scumbag was now completely set in stone. Those two actually laid low for a while after that, completely terrified to pull any more stunts in front of me. But this brief moment of peace was just the calm before an even bigger storm. On a bright, sunny weekend morning, I stood in front of the Gu family gates, feeling completely cheerful as I got ready to head out. A sleek, silver-white car pulled up to the curb. The window rolled down, revealing a breathtakingly gorgeous face. It was Shen Yue. Her deep, beautiful eyes were filled with an undeniable tenderness and profound affection. When she saw me, Shen Yue literally couldn't take her eyes off me. She immediately got out and opened the car door for me. She even held her hand over the door frame, terrified that I might bump my head. I gave her a bright smile. Thank you, Shen Yue. In that moment, the anxiety she had been holding onto finally melted away. She had been so incredibly excited for this date that she actually ran 5 laps around her neighborhood in the middle of the night. She had even called all her best friends for an all-night strategy meeting, just to make sure I had the absolute perfect weekend. Seeing her unable to hide that goofy grin, I couldn't help but smile too. She's supposed to be a prickly rose, so how come she looks like a silly little kitten when she smiles? Right after that, looking like she was presenting a grand prize, Shen Yue pulled out a huge bag of snacks. I opened it up, and couldn't believe it. It was full of all my favorites. I popped a piece of chocolate into my mouth, and squeezed my eyes shut in pure bliss. So good. Seeing how completely satisfied I looked, Shen Yue's heart practically melted. She spoke so softly. Chen, are you ready? She was about to take me to a place I would remember for the rest of my life. Shen Yue just stared at me, completely unable to tear her eyes away. Then, suddenly, she reached out, and gently brushed a speck of sugar from the corner of my mouth. The second her fingertips brushed my skin, my face completely burned up. It felt like an electric shock zipping through my whole body. Our eyes locked, and in that moment, time just stopped. The air between us was thick with this unspoken tension. I shyly looked away. Shen Yue, start the car. Shen Yue's cheeks turned a faint pink. She cleared her throat softly. Let's hit the road. With a soft, sweet melody playing in the background, we both completely relaxed. I broke the silence, asking, Shen Yue, you don't have to work today? A little smile played on her lips, her gentle voice filling the car. Don't worry, for the rest of the day, I'm all yours. I slowly turned my head, my eyes landing on her as I took in her outfit from head to toe. Out of her usual business suits, she honestly looked just like a fresh-faced college girl. And those deep, gorgeous eyes of hers. Just one look was enough to make you completely melt. Catching me staring, Shen Yue swallowed nervously. She was quietly wondering to herself, before leaving the house this morning. She had spent forever staring in the mirror. Would I actually like this outfit? I easily picked up on how nervous she was, and let out a soft little laugh. You look really, really pretty today, Shen Yue, I said softly. Hearing that, the tips of her ears instantly burned a bright red, almost turning crimson, but she still managed to flirt right back. Chen, you look beautiful every single day. The mood between us completely lightened up, and we happily chatted back and forth. Shen Yue hadn't wanted to take me anywhere crowded and noisy. After all, with my stunning looks, I'd effortlessly draw a crowd of stares wherever I went. So, to avoid all the unwanted attention, she brought me straight to a private VIP cinema. She had booked the entire place just for us, fully stocked with all kinds of snacks and drinks. Even the seats could recline all the way back into beds. As we walked into the theater, Chen, what movie do you want to watch? Shen Yue's voice was soft and low, and in that dim, quiet room, it sounded absolutely mesmerizing. I stared at the lineup of movies on the wall, my eyes finally landing on a horror flick. The next second, I pointed at it without hesitation and said, "Let's watch this one." Shen Yue followed my gaze to where I was pointing. She raised an eyebrow, her tone laced with a hint of doubt. Chen, do you really want to watch this one? This is a super famous horror movie. It's notoriously terrifying. I nodded proudly and blinked at her, teasingly asking, "Shen Yue, don't tell me you're scared?" Hearing this, Shen Yue's heart skipped a beat. Of course she wasn't going to admit she was terrified, especially not in front of her crush. So, she quickly shook her head in denial, but her eyes darted away unconsciously. No, I'm just worried that you'll be scared. After all, these kinds of movies aren't just your average jump scares. I gently patted her shoulder, a small smile playing on my lips. Don't worry, Shen Yue, if you get too scared. Alright, let's just watch it then. Soon after, the heavy theater doors slowly pulled shut, and the lights suddenly went pitch black. The entire theater was instantly swallowed by darkness. On the surface, Shen Yue sat in her seat feigning total calmness. But her palms were already dripping with cold sweat. As the movie progressed, eerie sound effects echoed wildly through the surround sound. Whenever a terrifying scene flashed across the screen, Shen Yue would jump out of her skin. In my mind, my system, Tuanzi, was laughing so hard it was rolling on the floor. Honestly though, the movie was genuinely terrifying. Combined with the theater's immersive atmosphere and sound effects, the horror factor was cranked up to 11. When a particularly gruesome jump scare hit, I couldn't help but let out a soft yelp. My body subconsciously shrinking closer to Shen Yue. Her heart instantly skipped a beat. She angled her body toward me, her arm gently wrapping around my shoulders. Don't be scared, I've got you. Even though Shen Yue was terrified out of her mind, the moment she realized I was scared, her own fear just vanished. All she wanted was to make me feel completely safe. To make sure I wasn't afraid anymore. I froze for a second, a soft blush creeping up my cheeks. I didn't push Shen Yue away. Instead, I just let her hold me. In that pitch-black theater, it felt like we were completely isolated from the rest of the world, with only each other left in it. Shen Yue felt the warmth radiating from my body. Suddenly, it felt as if pink romantic bubbles were floating over the gruesome scenes on the screen. I tilted my head up slightly, our eyes locking in the dark. The air between us thickened with a heavy, sweet tension. It felt like invisible silk threads, binding the two of us tightly together. Our heartbeats raced faster and faster in that dizzying, intimate atmosphere. Like they were about to burst right out of our chests. Shen Yue slowly leaned in closer to me. Her lips gently brushed against my forehead. That incredibly soft, tender touch sent a rush of warmth straight through Shen Yue's heart. Walking out of the theater after the movie, we shared a knowing smile. Afterwards, Shen Yue dragged me over to play some claw machines. We ended up with quite the massive haul. Our hands were so full we could barely carry it all. Looking at each other, completely buried under a mountain of plushies, we couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing. Seeing it was getting late, Shen Yue brought me back to the car. She had planned a really special dinner for us. She picked a famous scenic mountain right here in City A. There's a beautiful restaurant halfway up the mountain. And of course, the unbelievably wealthy Shen Yue had rented out the entire place. She wanted this moment to be just for the two of us. She didn't want anyone interrupting us. We pulled into the parking lot halfway up the hill. It was about a 100-meter walk to the restaurant. I followed close behind Shen Yue. Until we reached our reserved table, I gently straightened my pants and sat down gracefully. Just then, a waiter came over to greet us with a warm, welcoming smile. He politely handed the menu to Shen Yue. She took it, turned to me slightly, and asked in a soft voice, "Gu Chen, is there anything specific you'd like to eat?" "Whatever you pick is fine by me, Shen Yue," I smiled. Outside the window, the setting sun looked just like a breathtaking, colorful painting. I couldn't help but stare at it, and a smile naturally found its way to my lips. I gave a soft, gentle smile. Meanwhile, Shen Yue couldn't take her eyes off the side of my face. My handsome profile was like a work of art, leaving her completely mesmerized and captivated. We had a wonderful time over dinner, laughing and chatting. We talked about everything, from our little memories of the past to our dreams for the future. As night fell, and the sky filled with countless stars, Shen Yue led me out onto the balcony. We gazed up at the vast starry sky together. Everything Shen Yue did today was absolutely perfect for me. I really hate noisy places, so I was loving every second of this quiet, peaceful night. I turned to her and said, "Shen Yue, thank you so much for putting all this together today. I really love it." Shen Yue instinctively reached out to straighten my collar, but stopped herself and pulled her hand back. "We have plenty of time," she reminded herself. I was still a senior in high school, so she knew she couldn't rush things. What happened at the movie theater was already crossing a line. She was willing to wait for me to grow up. Beep, beep. A text notification chimed from Shen Yue's phone. She checked her screen. It was a flood of angry messages from Zhang Xiao, cursing her out for her recent power grabs. When she read the very last line, "From now on, Shen Qingqiu is my only daughter. You are no longer a daughter of mine. A mocking smirk appeared on Shen Yue's face. Since when did Zhang Xiao ever treat her like a real daughter, anyway? That kind of threat, she had heard it a million times by now. I noticed the sudden shift in her expression, and asked with genuine concern, "What's wrong? Is it some trouble at work?" Shen Yue quietly locked her phone, gently shook her head, and sighed helplessly. "It's nothing, just a text from a crazy person, that's all." Even though she played it down, she couldn't hide the deep sadness in her eyes from me. I reached out and gently stroked the top of her head, as if I were petting a gentle little cat. Then, I said softly, "Shen Yue, let's just forget about the things that upset us. Everyone goes through tough times and things that don't go their way. But being unhappy won't change a thing. So, Shen Yue, you have to promise me you'll try to be happy every single day, okay?" Shen Yue just looked at me in silence, a rush of incredible warmth flooding her heart. She lowered her head slightly, a faint smile playing on her lips. Shen Yue cast her eyes downward. After a moment of thought, she looked back up at the night sky. Chen, there's actually a secret about myself I've been meaning to tell you. I just don't know if you're willing to listen." This secret had been buried deep in Shen Yue's heart for nearly 20 years. She had never breathed a word of it to anyone. Only here, with me, could she completely open up her heart. It all went back to when she was just 8 years old. Back then, her mother, Zhang Xiao, was crumbling under the unbearable weight of both family and work. She ended up developing severe bipolar disorder. The condition left her incredibly fragile and on edge, exploding into fits of rage over the tiniest, most insignificant things. But little Shen Yue didn't know her mother was sick. She just thought her mom had changed. And her father, Shen Nan? Instead of being a supportive husband and comforting his wife, or helping her get treatment, he chose to run away. Eventually, he had an affair. He cheated on her with his own married subordinate. And to cover up their little secret rendezvous, they actually used little Shen Yue as a shield. But you can never hide these things from a woman's intuition. Zhang Xiao sensed something was wrong. One day, she secretly followed him. And she saw it with her own eyes. Shen Nan had taken Shen Yue and his mistress to the park. The other woman was being so incredibly gentle with Shen Yue, just like her mother used to be. So naturally, Shen Yue really liked this new auntie. Zhang Xiao hid in the shadows, watching the radiant smiles on her husband and daughter's faces. It looked as if they were the real family. Then, she heard him ask, "Shen Yue, do you like this auntie?" Shen Yue looked up with her sweet, innocent face and said, "Yes, because auntie is just like mommy." What she really meant was that the woman reminded her of how her mother used to be before she got sick. She just wanted her real mom back. But to Zhang Xiao, hearing that was the ultimate double betrayal from both her husband and her own daughter. She stumbled back home in an absolute daze, her mental state completely spiraling out of control. She locked herself in the bathroom, filled the tub with water, and just let herself sink to the bottom. But right at that moment, her 3-year-old daughter, Shen Qingqiu, suddenly started crying hysterically for her mother. Hearing her baby's piercing wails, Zhang Xiao dragged herself out of the water. She pulled Shen Qingqiu into a desperate, tight embrace, clinging to her like a lifeline. From that day forward, Zhang Xiao made a silent vow. She would only ever live for Shen Qingqiu. But just as she finally made up her mind to divorce him, fate played a truly cruel joke on her. Shen Nan and his mistress were killed in a horrific car crash during an out-of-town getaway. For Zhang Xiao, her husband's death didn't bring any closure. It didn't wash away a single drop of her hatred. Instead, she poured all of that venomous resentment onto Shen Yue. Maybe it was because she had bottled up her agony for far too long. But she poured out over a decade of deeply buried trauma, bearing it all to me. By the end of her story, her eyes were bloodshot and brimming with tears. Her voice cracked as she choked back a sob. "I really thought my life was just over. I thought I'd be nothing but a mindless puppet, forever trapped in the palm of their hands, controlled by that mother and her daughters. Completely at their mercy. But fate has a funny way of throwing you a curveball, doesn't it? Just when I was about to give up all hope, until that day, that one unforgettable night. Then I met you, Gu Chen. Before that night, I was drowning in an endless, dark abyss. Everything was pitch black. Not a single ray of light could pierce through that ocean of despair. I felt like I was slowly suffocating. I'd lost all my passion and hope for life. But, the moment you appeared in front of me, everything changed. You were like a blinding ray of light, suddenly lighting up that entire underwater world. Your presence made me realize that I was still alive, that I could still feel, and still want things. From that moment on, the desires that had been sleeping deep inside my heart were finally awakened. I craved freedom. I craved to break free from my chains. I just wanted to feel the fresh air again, to see the clear blue sky. Looking at the sheer pain on Shen Yue's face, I couldn't help but let out a heavy sigh in my heart. So that was the truth of it all. At this very moment, I finally understood exactly why things were so incredibly tense between Zhang Xiao and Shen Yue. And it also made sense why the Shen family refused to let Shen Yue, their eldest daughter, inherit the family business. I gently stroked Shen Yue's cheek, gazing deeply into her eyes. My voice was filled with nothing but tenderness and comfort. Shen Yue, none of this is your fault. You've always been such a wonderful person. Aunt Zhang treating you this way, that's her loss. I just hope you can see your own worth. You have to love yourself first, before anyone else can love you. Thank you, Gu Chen. Shen Yue gripped my hand tightly, a flicker of deep emotion in her eyes. I gave her a soft smile, like a warm spring breeze soothing the scars in her heart. Shen Yue, you have to stay strong. Let the past stay in the past. You still have such a beautiful future ahead of you. Shen Yue nodded. I will. I just don't know how to face Zhang Xiao right now. Give her some time, and give yourself some time, too, I encouraged her. One day, the two of you will figure this all out. Shen Yue looked at me, a sudden wave of warmth swelling in her chest. I'll do my best. Her eyes finally filled with a firm resolve. Suddenly, Shen Yue is so pitiful. Chen, are we really still going to use her? Use her? I lowered my eyes, carefully masking my true emotions. I let out a soft chuckle. How could you call this using her? This is a win-win situation. If we want to take down Zhang Xiao and the Shen Corporation, the best way is to infiltrate enemy lines. We find their weakness, so we can destroy them in a single strike. And Shen Yue, she just so happens to be the key to this entire plan. As long as Shen Yue replaces Zhang Xiao as the CEO of the Shen Corporation, we completely destroy any chance of Shen Qingqiu taking over the Gu family business in the future. That pretty much eliminates the biggest threat of the Gu family going bankrupt. And of course, Shen Yue is actually exactly my type. Otherwise, there's no way I would have sacrificed myself to put on such a good show. When it comes to love, what's real and what's fake? Who can really tell? Besides, Shen Yue has been quite the pleasant surprise. Hidden depths. Absolutely breathtaking. It hasn't even been that long, and Zhang Xiao is already backed into a corner. Looks like, this mission is just about wrapped up. After that, Shen Yue drove me back to the Gu estate. As the car slowly pulled to a stop, I looked over at her and said, Sister Shen Yue, thank you for everything you put together today. I really had an amazing time. Shen Yue gave a soft smile, and gently ruffled my hair. The gesture was full of pure affection. Seeing you this happy, makes it all worth it. Her voice was incredibly sweet and gentle, like the clear chime of a mountain spring, making my heart skip a beat. Suddenly, I leaned in close. My handsome features slowly filled her vision. My gaze deep and intent, a slight smirk playing on my lips, carrying a hint of playful teasing. Shen Yue's breath hitched. Her heart pounded like a drum. In that instant, her mind went completely blank, totally unable to form a single thought. We were so incredibly close. To anyone looking from the outside, it must have looked like we were locked in a passionate kiss. But, I didn't kiss her like she thought I would. Instead, I just reached up, and gently brushed a speck of dust from her cheek. Sister Shen Yue, you've got a little smudge right here. Let me get that for you. I teased. Hearing my words, Shen Yue's ears flushed bright red. She looked down, a little flustered, secretly relieved she hadn't embarrassed herself. But at the exact same time, a tiny pang of disappointment washed over her. Still, I wasn't about to let her off the hook that easily. I covered my mouth to hide a smirk. Sister Shen Yue, why are your ears so red? Don't tell me, you thought I was going to kiss you? Those last few words slipped from my lips with a dangerous, seductive drawl. My voice was like a soft feather, gently tracing over her heart. The question hit her like a lightning bolt, echoing right in her ear, sending her heart into a wild frenzy. It felt like it was going to beat right out of her chest. A flash of shy embarrassment crossed her eyes as she desperately tried to hide her panic. She quickly grabbed a sip of water to cover it up. Ahem, Gu Chen, stop teasing me. Her voice was a little husky, laced with a barely hidden tenderness. Shen Yue felt like her heart was completely in the palm of my hands, like I was some little devil, playfully squeezing it whenever I pleased. But she wasn't mad at all. Actually, she loved it. She wanted me to let my guard down and show my true colors around her. To be a bit cheeky and show a little attitude. It made her feel like we were that much closer. I tilted my head, looking at her with big, bright eyes, and a playful smirk on my lips. Sister Shen Yue, I wasn't joking. Shen Yue froze, her heart skipping another beat. She looked into my totally serious eyes, and an overwhelming wave of joy washed over her. Chen, what do you mean by that? Shen Yue's voice was trembling. Her eyes were filled with anticipation and nervous tension. I gently bit my lower lip, then gathered my courage and said, Shen Yue, I really like you. Shen Yue's eyes instantly lit up. It was as if countless fireworks had just bloomed in her heart. She reached out, gently taking my hand. That soft, delicate touch completely melted her heart. Her gaze was overflowing with tenderness and love, as if she wanted to engrave me deep into her soul. Chen, I like you too. I've always liked you. Shen Yue's voice was incredibly soft, filled with deep affection. She slowly leaned in, and gently pulled me into her arms. We just held each other quietly like that, as if time itself had stopped. Everything around us just faded into a blur. And only our presence felt real. Shen Yue softly stroked my hair, her gentle movements like she was protecting a precious treasure. Chen, let me take care of you from now on, she whispered warmly against my ear. We cuddled in the car for a long time. Eventually, since it was getting really late, I stepped out and waved at her. Shen Yue, I'm going in. Drive safe. Good night. Get some rest. Shen Yue watched me walk inside before finally, reluctantly, driving away. The Gu family home was brightly lit, the lights left on just for me. I looked up at the room on the west side. The curtains were drawn completely shut, without a single sliver of light, making it look completely out of place next to the other rooms. I gave a slight smirk, walked into the house, and went back to my room. Meanwhile, up in that dark room, Zhang Shui was leaning weakly against the cold windowsill. Her eyes clouded with endless gloom. The scene she had just witnessed hit her heart like a massive boulder, leaving her in absolute agony. She just couldn't understand why I would make a choice like that. Never mind the fact that Shen Yue is 5 years older than me. She's also Shen Qingqiu's biological sister. Why on earth would I choose someone like her? She had mistakenly thought she was falling in love with Du Ziteng, drawn to his bright and cheerful nature. Because of that, even if Du Ziteng and Shen Qingqiu were in love, she was willing to silently protect his happiness, just to see his radiant smile. However, ever since I walked into her life, everything changed. She finally understood what true love really was. Love wasn't just about admiration. It was about possession. It was about claiming what's yours. She desperately craved to pull me tightly into her arms, to make me entirely hers. At this moment, the dark, obsessive glint in Zhang Shui's eyes grew even deeper. Gu Chen, you can only be mine. Life went back to normal at school. Because of the previous accident, the students in the honors class were being extra careful to protect me lately. Whenever a stranger came anywhere near our classroom, the entire honors class would lock their eyes on them, totally intimidating them from trying anything funny. And outside of the honors class, a secret new club had quietly popped up at school. It was called the School Prince Fan Club. The fan club members acted like loyal knights, strictly guaranteeing my safety everywhere on campus, banning anyone from bothering me, so I could just enjoy a normal student life. They also made my boundaries crystal clear. I absolutely won't accept any love letters or gifts. If they catch anyone trying to sneak me a present, they'll be held to pay. And the president of this fan club was Gu Ninan. Plus, Lin Xiaoya, Zhang Xinyu, and Zhang Shui. All three of them joined the club too. Shen Qingqiu actually had the nerve to submit an application. But when Gu Ninan found it, he rolled his eyes so hard, crumpled the form into a ball, and tossed it straight into the trash. Trash belongs in the trash, with them acting as my bodyguards. My school life finally quieted down. Even though every time I show my face in public, I still draw a lot of stares, but thankfully, staring is all they do. Nobody tries anything crazy anymore. Later, in our private dining room at the cafeteria, I affectionately ruffled Gu Ninan's hair and said gratefully, "Thank you for everything, Anon. You've seriously saved me so much trouble." Gu Ninan, sitting right next to me, asked with a playful pout. "Well then, brother, am I your favorite little brother?" A soft smile tugged at my lips as I answered gently. "Of course you are. You're family, and you mean the absolute world to me." Our close brotherly bond made the three girls sitting nearby incredibly jealous. Lin Xiaoya bitterly took a bite of her food, only to realize she had grabbed a piece of ginger disguised as a potato. She gagged and quickly spat it out, drawing everyone's attention. Realizing her crush had just witnessed her looking so foolish, Lin Xiaoya's face burned a bright, tomato red. She scrambled to explain, I just accidentally bit into some ginger." Zhang Xinyu, never one to miss a chance to tease her, laughed. "Oh, Xiaoya, how could you not see a massive chunk of ginger like that? You seriously need to get your eyes checked." Lin Xiaoya just wanted to drop the subject, and couldn't even bother arguing with Zhang Xinyu. I just glanced up briefly, before looking away again. That made Lin Xiaoya's heart ache with a pang of jealousy. What on earth did she have to do to make me actually notice her? Suddenly, I remembered something. "Hey, Anon, your birthday is coming up pretty soon, isn't it? How do you want to celebrate?" I asked out of nowhere. Gu Ninan looked incredibly touched. "Brother, you actually remembered my birthday?" I chuckled softly. "You're my little brother. Of course an older brother is gonna remember your birthday." Gu Ninan thought about it for a second. "Well, it's only my 17th birthday, so it's no big deal. I don't want a huge party or anything. Let's just hit up a karaoke spot, sing a bit, and grab some food." But more importantly, he looked up at me, a sly, playful glint in his eyes. "You have to spend the entire day with me, brother. Deal?" Naturally, I agreed. Lin Xiaoya immediately chimed in. "Little brother Anon, let me come to your birthday too. I promise I'll get you a massive present." Not wanting to be left out, the other two girls quickly insisted on coming as well. Gu Ninan shot the three of them a side eye and said with a haughty little huff, Fine, but only because you're bringing presents. I guess I'll allow you to attend this young master's birthday party." My gaze slowly swept across the table. A faint smile played on my lips, but it didn't reach my eyes. Ji Shan has been completely swamped lately. The company's been incredibly busy. Shen Yue even sent over several multi-million-dollar projects on behalf of the Shen family. Deep down, I knew exactly why. Shen Yue and I have been quite close lately, so she obviously sent those projects over as a favor to me. I could tell Ji Shan really didn't want to accept them at first. He probably felt he shouldn't owe anyone a favor so easily. So, I stepped in and told him to take the projects without a second thought. I firmly insisted that this was simply what the Shen family owed them from the past, and they shouldn't feel guilty about it at all. Even though Ji Shan had no idea what the Shen family supposedly owed them, seeing how absolutely certain I was. He stopped hesitating. After all, you'd be a fool to turn down free money. Not to mention, the Ji family's business has really been going downhill these past few years. For this birthday, just to show how much he cares about Ninan, Ji Shan went out of his way to gift him a gorgeous, luxury apartment right by the river. On the day of the party, right before we left the house, Ji Shan kept reminding Ninan over and over again, make sure you take good care of your older brother. You hear me? A younger brother taking care of his older brother. It sounds a bit backward, doesn't it? But in our family, it's just the way things are. After all, in their eyes, I'm just so terribly fragile and gentle. They're always so worried that someone's going to pick on me. Ninan just patted his chest proudly and said, don't worry, as long as Ji Ninan, am around, nobody is going to lay a single finger on my brother. Tianel Club, as the biggest entertainment club in City A, the sheer luxury of this place was absolutely mind-blowing. The prices alone were beyond what any normal person could even imagine. And this was exactly where Ninan's birthday party was being held. He booked out their absolute biggest VIP room, and even hired a professional DJ to get the crowd hyped. The moment we arrived and Ninan pushed the doors open, pop, a massive shower of confetti rained down from the ceiling. Everyone screamed at the top of their lungs, Anon. Happy 17th birthday. Ninan has always been incredibly popular, with tons of friends. Plus, since they knew I was coming too, there were easily 40 or 50 people packed into that room. Ninan let out a wild cheer, and rushed in to tackle his friends. In no time, the whole place was turning into a massive party. They were fighting over the mics and dancing like crazy. But everyone at this party had been handpicked by Ninan. I could feel them stealing little glances at me, completely mesmerized, but too terrified to actually try anything. Ninan must have laid down the law beforehand, warning them absolutely not to bother me. I just found a quiet little corner and sat down. Zhang Shui, Lin Xiaoya, and Zhang Xinyu. The three of them immediately scrambled to sit right next to me. Lin Xiaoya grabbed a glass of juice from the table and handed it over. I took the glass, gently swirling the juice around. A soft smile formed on my lips. Under the dim, moody lighting of the club, I could feel those three staring at me so intensely, I could practically hear them gulping. Suddenly, I looked right at them and suggested, it's Anan's birthday today, since we're all having such a great time. Why don't we have a few drinks? Alcohol? Lin Xiaoya and the girls exchanged a nervous glance, even though they were still underage. But they'd all had their fair share of drinks before, so they weren't intimidated at all. I let out a sigh and frowned. I just wanted to give it a try. If it doesn't work out, then forget it. Since I put it that way, Lin Xiaoya and the others had no choice but to play along. Ji Ninan caught sight of this with his sharp eyes and called out. No way, you guys are drinking without me? I want a drink too. I remembered how he had practically grown up attending all sorts of banquets. It definitely wasn't his first time drinking. Plus, he was the birthday boy after all. So I agreed, but you absolutely cannot drink too much. Got it? Ji Ninan just grinned playfully. Oh, relax. Bro, it's just a little bit of beer. I can handle it easily. And hey, what's drinking without some games? Ji Ninan suggested playing liar's dice. The loser would have to drink. Or they could choose truth or dare. Just as we were all set and ready to go, the door to our KTV room was suddenly pushed open. The game started with Ji Ninan. With 7 people, there were 35 dice in total. Ji Ninan started off by calling a conservative number. 8 fives. The person sitting right next to him was Lin Xiaoya. She glanced at Ji Ninan's expression, then spoke up. 10 sixes. Zhang Xinyu was next. 13 sixes. Zhang Shui chose to call her bluff right away. We counted them all up. 12, short by 1. Everyone started cheering and teasing her. Zhang Xinyu accepted her defeat, picked up a glass of beer, and downed it. She wiped her mouth afterward and said, let's keep going. Shen Qingqiu's turn. 10 sixes. Zhang Shui immediately responded, I call. Shen Qingqiu rolled her eyes. You're seriously calling me on 10 sixes? Zhang Shui replied casually, yep, I'm calling your bluff. If I'm wrong, I'll drink. All the dice cups were lifted. We counted them up, and surprisingly, there were exactly 9 sixes. Shen Qingqiu had no choice but to take the loss and down her glass. A few rounds in, Shen Qingqiu was losing worse than anyone else. By now, the private room was completely buzzing. Everyone was having a great time. Du Ziteng glanced around the room. Seeing that no one was paying attention to him, he secretly pulled a small packet from his bag. He quickly emptied the powder into my drink, and hurriedly stirred it in with his finger. Seeing that nobody had caught him, Du Ziteng let out a quiet sigh of relief. I shot him a subtle glance from the corner of my eye, a cold smirk creeping onto my face. This guy really had a death wish. A new round of the game began. Gu Ninan started the bidding again. 9 fives. Zhang Shen followed up. 10 sixes. Then came Zhang Shui. 12 sixes. I glanced over at Du Ziteng sitting next to me and said, 16 fives. Going straight from 12 to 16, jumping up by 4 whole dice. And there were only 35 dice on the board, even if ones count as wildcards. Calling that number is still way too risky, Du Ziteng said with a smirk. Gu Chen, I honestly didn't want to call your bluff. But that number of yours is just absolutely ridiculous. If I don't call it, it'd look like I'm letting you win on purpose. I looked at him, completely innocent. So, are you calling it or not? Du Ziteng raised an eyebrow. I'm calling it. So, I went ahead and lifted my dice cup first. There was only a single 5 inside. Du Ziteng took one look, covered his mouth, and snickered. Gu Chen, do you even know how to play this game? You've only got one. There's no way you can win. Beside me, Gu Ninan rolled her eyes so hard. Hey, maybe you should check our dice first? Du Ziteng glanced around the table, and the color instantly drained from his face. How are there so many 5s? Gu Ninan flashed a wicked little smirk. Oh my, Ziteng, upperclassman, looks like you lost. So, are you taking a shot, or choosing truth or dare? Du Ziteng forced a bitter smile. I've already drank way too much. Let's go with truth or dare. Gu Chen, go ahead, give me your dare. I rested my chin in my hands, my long fingers tapping lightly on the table. I heard our dear Du Ziteng is fluent in 4 languages. So, why doesn't Ziteng give us a quick rundown of the rules for this game, in all 4 of those languages? Hearing that, Du Ziteng froze, his face instantly stiffening. He bit his lip hard, a flash of pure panic and dread showing in his eyes. All the classmates around us eagerly turned their attention to him. They were dying to see if he was actually as amazing as he claimed. At that moment, Du Ziteng was internally panicking. He did know 4 languages, but only the most basic, everyday phrases and a handful of simple vocabulary words. There was absolutely no way he could translate the complicated rules of this game right on the spot. And to make matters worse, half the school was sitting right there staring at him. Gu Ninan impatiently urged him on. Come on, hurry up. Don't tell me this whole fluent in 4 languages thing was a total lie. Even Shen Qingqiu was starting to look at him with deep suspicion. He stumbled through a messy translation. Gu Ninan curled her lip in disgust. That terrible Chinglish accent was practically worse than a beginner's. But seeing that nobody called him out, Du Ziteng decided to just go for broke. Whatever, it's not like these people actually know the languages. He figured he'd just string some random daily greetings together and fake it. So, imitating a heavy Korean accent, he rattled off a super quick translation in Korean. The second he finished, the entire private room was dead silent. Du Ziteng let out a quiet sigh of relief. Yeah, that's right. None of them understand a word anyway. Gaining confidence, he repeated the exact same trick, faking his way through another foreign language. Finally, it was time for French. Just as Du Ziteng thought he had successfully bluffed his way out of this total nightmare. Brother Gu, wait, didn't you grow up living in France? Was his translation actually correct? Du Ziteng froze, his hands and feet instantly turning ice cold. How the hell did he forget? I literally just moved back from France. Of course I speak fluent French. Remembering the absolute gibberish he had just spewed, Du Ziteng's vision went completely black. But before I could speak, Lin Xiaoyu looked up and casually chimed in. Well, I actually happen to know a bit of English and French too. And let me just say, his translations were complete and utter bullshit. Du Ziteng's face flushed beet red. Everyone burst out laughing at the exact same time. Gu Ninan sneered. No way, Du Ziteng. You sounded so dead serious just now. I actually fell for your crap. Du Ziteng forced an awkward smile and tried to explain. My proficiency is honestly just average. Sorry to make a fool of myself. He was just desperately hoping to brush the whole embarrassing thing under the rug. After all, as long as nobody dug too deep, he could just keep up his little charade. But to his absolute shock, it wasn't long before the students around him who had actually studied those specific foreign languages started stepping up. They began calling him out, pointing out that his translations were completely, utterly wrong. And not just that, even his English was riddled with blatant grammatical errors. The wave of voices crashing down on him was overwhelming. He was completely defenseless. In that agonizing moment, Du Ziteng felt as though his face was being viciously ripped off. The stares of everyone around him felt like cold, sharp daggers, piercing right through his chest. He watched them glaring at him with pure disgust, their voices relentlessly chanting. Liar, thief, and other nasty insults. Every single word was a razor-sharp blade. slashing ruthlessly into his core. Desperate, he shot a pleading look at Shen Qingqiu, begging her silently to bail him out. But Shen Qingqiu was already thoroughly, profoundly disgusted with him. Why the hell would she help him? She actually spoke language Y herself. And whatever nonsense Du Ziteng was spouting had absolutely zero connection to the actual rules of the game. Remembering how he used to casually, yet deliberately, flex about supposedly speaking 4 different languages just to impress her, she felt like a total and complete idiot for ever looking up to him. Shen Qingqiu furrowed her brows and glared at him. Du Ziteng, if you literally don't know 4 languages, then why on earth did you lie about it? Du Ziteng felt like a sledgehammer had just smashed into his skull. At the same time, he felt his body running burning hot, a violent surge of rage boiling up inside him. Desperate to be unleashed, suddenly, he shot to his feet, absolutely losing his mind as he screamed. That is enough. I am not a liar. I do know 4 languages. I'm just not very fluent at speaking them. From the very beginning, I never once claimed I was perfectly fluent in all of them. You guys just misunderstood me. Seeing him still trying to bullshit his way out of it, Gu Ninan cut right through the lies. Sure, you never explicitly said it. But when everyone was praising you for it, you didn't exactly deny it either, did you? You just loved soaking up the attention and feeling so damn superior. And now that you're busted, you can't handle it. Shen Yue carelessly crossed her legs and mocked him with a smirk. Seriously, Du Ziteng, is there a single truthful word that comes out of your mouth? I'm starting to think all your past exam scores were completely faked too. Du Ziteng's eyes went bloodshot. Shaking with pure, unfiltered rage, he snarled, do you have any proof? Just because I'm not a perfect master of 4 languages doesn't mean I'm a bad student. Shen Yue, why the hell are you insulting me like this? I thought we were friends. Shen Yue scoffed, rolling her eyes. Friends? I certainly never agreed to that. You're just Shen Qingqiu's boyfriend. Plus, didn't you say it yourself? Didn't you say you look down on wealthy, stuck-up rich girls like me? How very convenient that we're suddenly friends now. Du Ziteng was trembling violently with rage. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught me staring right at him with a deadpan, mocking smirk. And with that, the final string holding his sanity together completely snapped. Du Ziteng looked up, scanned the room, and suddenly burst into laughter. Ha, you're all looking down on me? Like any of you are any better. Du Ziteng pointed straight at Shen Qingqiu first. His eyes burned with intense rage, and his voice was so sharp it felt like it could cut through the air. Shen Qingqiu, you are nothing but a 2-timing snake. You were the one who shamelessly threw yourself at me. You already had a fiancé, yet you still had the nerve to lead me on without an ounce of shame. And now I'm the one taking all the blame, while you play the innocent victim and hide like a total coward. You make me sick. Du Ziteng grew more furious as he yelled, his face turning completely red. His whole body was shaking with anger. Shen Qingqiu stomped her feet in a fury. Shut your mouth, she screamed, but Du Ziteng wasn't going to let it go that easily. His eyes wide with rage, he turned his finger toward Lin Xiaoya. Spitting as he shouted, and you, Lin Xiaoya, you're supposed to be Shen Qingqiu's childhood best friend, but just for some guy, you threw your bestie away like garbage. Do you have any basic decency left? You're a selfish, scheming little hypocrite. On the outside, you act like you and Shen Qingqiu are loving sisters. But behind her back, you stab her right in the gut. One minute you act like she's beneath you, and the next, you're crying sisterhood. You are the ultimate two-faced fake. An absolute drama queen. Du Ziteng yelled until he was red in the face. His voice was going hoarse, but his fury didn't drop for a single second. Everyone stared at Du Ziteng in absolute shock. The sheer aggression was insane. Hearing this, Shen Qingqiu whipped around and glared at Lin Xiaoya. Lin Xiaoya, is he telling the truth? Lin Xiaoya stayed dead silent. Exploding with rage, Shen Qingqiu lunged forward to hit her, but Shen Yue held her back. Of course, Du Ziteng wasn't going to leave Shen Yue out. He sneered darkly, oh, Shen Yue, don't be in such a rush. I haven't forgotten about you. You love playing Lin Xiaoya's little shadow every day, don't you? Why did you choose Xiaoya out of your 2 besties? Because you're obsessed with Gu Chen too. You knew perfectly well that she liked him, yet you still followed her around like a lost puppy. Just so you could get a glimpse of Gu Chen. You act like you're such loyal sisters. But you're just scheming for yourself. Like during gym class the other day. You saw Gu Chen resting in the classroom alone, so you ditched class to go see him. And when you saw he was sleeping, you snuck a kiss. Shen Yue, you are completely shameless. Did you honestly think no one saw you? Well, the secret's out now. Let's see how you ever show your face around here again. That revelation instantly set the whole room off. Everyone shot furious glares at Shen Yue. You actually dared to kiss him? Zhang Shui's face went terrifyingly dark. Du Ziteng looked up, saw her expression, and gave a sinister, mocking smile. His grin was dripping with absolute malice and contempt. And then there's you. You're the scariest one of them all, Zhang Shui. My sweet, lovely childhood friend. You look so innocent and pure on the outside. But your heart is darker than anyone else's in this room. Back then, before Gu Chen even came back to the country. You're the one who posted all that garbage on the forum. You're absolutely vicious. But the second Gu Chen came back, you stabbed me right in the back. You shameless traitor. Du Ziteng's eyes burned with pure rage. It was as if he wanted to burn Zhang Shui to ashes. What a pity, though. Look at the people around you. Every single one of them is a rich heiress. Sitting high and mighty, doing whatever the hell they please. But you're just a pathetic little parasite living off someone else. And you use those cheap, dirty tricks too. Before Du Ziteng could even finish, Zhang Shui clamped her hand over his mouth. And knocked him out cold with a single slap. Seeing everyone's stunned faces, Zhang Shui quickly explained, something's wrong with him. It looks like someone drugged him. Drugged? The rest of the room suddenly understood. No wonder Du Ziteng was acting like a total lunatic. He was usually known for keeping a low profile, but he just exploded like a raging bull. It was definitely an eye-opener. A second later, I stepped forward and said, call an ambulance. Get him to the hospital. And call the police. We need to report this. Everyone snapped out of it. Right. We'd better get him to the hospital, fast. It's going to be a disaster if something happens to him. After the calls were made, a dead silence fell over the private room. I held Gu Ninan's ice-cold hands and said softly, Enon. I am so sorry. This is all my fault. I completely ruined your birthday party. I honestly didn't plan on dealing with Du Ziteng here. But when I saw him trying to drug me, I decided to play along and give him a taste of his own medicine. An eye for an eye. Gu Ninan just shook her head. Gritting her teeth, she replied, brother. It's not your fault at all. It's those two uninvited creeps. They knew damn well they weren't welcome, but they just had to show up with their thick skins. Shen Qingqiu stood there, looking incredibly awkward. I had no idea Du Ziteng was going to snap like that. Besides, wasn't I the one getting screamed at? The little system in my mind suddenly spoke up. Chen, is that drug really that terrifying? It literally turned him into a completely different person. He lost every ounce of his sanity. I replied in my head. The drug just brought out the darkness that was already inside him. Du Ziteng was never the type to just sit back and take a beating. Lately, all the humiliation he's suffered has been bottling up inside him. He was already on edge, and then getting exposed for faking his four-language fluency. That was the final straw that made him snap. Once the ambulance and the police finally arrived, everyone in the room was taken down to the station to give their statements. The case still needed further investigation, so they had to call everyone's families to come pick them up for now. Eventually, the only ones left at the police station were me, Gu Ninan, Zhang Shui, and Shen Qingqiu. Zhang Shui was unusually quiet, just standing off to the side with a flicker of deep worry in her eyes. Shen Qingqiu, on the other hand, had a dark, bitter scowl on her face. She clearly wasn't happy about how things had just played out. Meanwhile, Gu Ninan stayed close by my side. I ruffled Gu Ninan's hair and pulled a little felt doll out of my bag. Hey, Enon. I haven't given you your birthday present yet. Here you go. See if you like it. Gu Ninan took the doll, his face lighting up with surprise. Wow, this doll looks just like me. Well, I made it to look just like you. Gu Ninan looked amazed. Bro, did you actually make this yourself? I nodded. He literally jumped for joy. I absolutely love this gift. Thank you so much, brother. Even though it didn't cost nearly as much as his other gifts, in Gu Ninan's heart, all the presents he got today combined couldn't compare to this one. Hearing this, Zhang Shui and Shen Qingqiu couldn't hide their jealous and envious expressions. That kid was so damn lucky. Gu Chen treated him way too well. I looked at the bright and cheerful Gu Ninan, and my heart warmed. What a silly kid. Just then, a familiar car pulled up to the police station entrance. Shen Yue's beautiful face appeared before everyone. Shen Qingqiu looked surprised. Sis, are you here to pick me up? Shen Qingqiu still didn't know about the company issues. She only knew her sister hadn't been home in a long time. So seeing her sister here was a huge shock. Shen Yue barely spared her a glance, walking briskly straight to me. Chen, are you okay? I shook my head. I'm fine. Hearing that, Shen Yue let out a deep breath of relief. She gently brushed a stray hair from my face. I've already let Uncle Gu know. I'm here to take you guys home. Off to the side, Zhang Shui glared gloomily at Shen Yue, staying completely silent. Meanwhile, Shen Qingqiu stared wide-eyed at the scene. What the hell was going on? Since when was her sister so close to the Gu family? Why wasn't Gu Chen pushing her away? He was actually letting her stand right next to him. Watching Shen Yue getting ready to leave with the three of us, Shen Qingqiu couldn't hold back anymore. Sis, what about me? Am I even your sister anymore? Shen Yue turned her head, looking coldly at Shen Qingqiu. This sister of hers, she was so cute when she was little, but she'd turned into such a mess growing up. Shen Yue already knew everything that happened in the private room today. She knew full well they didn't want her there, and didn't even invite her, yet she still had the nerve to crash the party. She even brought that guy along. Shen Yue saw right through her pathetic little scheme. For anything else, Shen Yue might have just turned a blind eye. But when it came to me, Shen Yue had absolutely zero tolerance. So, she coldly dropped one sentence. I'm taking them home. You wait here. Someone else will come pick you up. Once we walked out of the police station, Gu Ninan couldn't help but laugh out loud. Bro, did you see Shen Qingqiu's face? That was hilarious. She made such a massive fool of herself today. I doubt she'll even have the nerve to show up at school tomorrow. Shen Yue walked over to the passenger side of the car, pulled out a box, and came back over to us. She handed the box to Gu Ninan. Gu Ninan, happy birthday. This is your birthday present. Gu Ninan thanked her and took the box. After opening it, his eyes lit up. Wow, a Felida watch. Shen Yue, you're way too generous. Even the cheapest Felida watch costs over 100,000. The one in his hand was covered in tiny diamonds. You could tell at a glance it wasn't cheap. As if suddenly realizing something, Gu Ninan put the watch down and handed it back to Shen Yue. Such an expensive gift. I can't accept this. You should take it back. But Shen Yue seemed to have expected this. She chuckled softly. I already talked to your dad about it. Just relax and accept it. I also chimed in from the side. Anon. Just take it, really. Hearing this, Gu Ninan happily strapped the watch onto his wrist. Then gave Shen Yue a big thumbs up. Shen Yue, you barely pass as my future sister-in-law. Alright, get in the car, I'll take you guys back. All the way back, Gu Ninan was completely thrilled, teasing Shen Yue and me from time to time. The three of us were constantly laughing. Zhang Shui sat by the window in the back seat, listening to our laughter. Without saying a single word, she leaned against the seat, staring obsessively at me in the passenger seat. Gu Ninan caught sight of Zhang Shui actually daring to look at me like that, and let out a mocking sneer. Zhang Shui, why don't you explain what Du Ziteng said today? You're the one who made all those posts on the school forum back then. Hearing this, I turned around to look at Zhang Shui, as if I was also waiting for her explanation. Zhang Shui's hands unconsciously tightened. I admit it, I'm the one who posted them. Zhang Shui, you really have no shame. How could you still have the nerve to act all innocent in front of my brother lately? Gu Ninan said furiously. Zhang Shui quickly tried to explain, that's because I didn't know Gu Chen back then. Plus Du Ziteng kept complaining to me. Zhang Shui's voice grew lower and lower. I'm sorry, I was wrong to do that. So that gives you the right to drag my brother's name through the mud? Gu Ninan was boiling with rage. Zhang Shui lowered her head in silence. She knew that no matter what she said right now, it would only make Gu Ninan angrier. Alright. Stop fighting, I said softly. It's in the past. Let's just drop it. Gu Ninan glared at Zhang Shui and stopped talking. The atmosphere in the car was awkward for a while, until we pulled up to the front gate of the Gu family villa. Thanks for giving us a ride home, Shen Yue. After getting out of the car, I thanked Shen Yue. Shen, you never have to say thank you to me. Hurry on inside, Shen Yue responded with a warm smile. Watching Shen Yue's car drive away, Gu Ninan turned to look at Zhang Shui. Stay away from my brother from now on. After saying that, he pulled me inside. After we got home, I washed up and laid lazily on my bed, just messing around on my phone. Word of what happened at the birthday party spread fast. It was already blowing up on the school's message board. The comments underneath were completely roasting Du Ziteng and the other three. A lot of people at Mingde High School already couldn't stand them anyway. Especially since they went around calling themselves the three tyrants of Mingde or whatever, doing nothing but throwing their weight around the school all day long. Now that they were at each other's throats, everyone was practically cheering and applauding. Ungrateful. Just so ungrateful. It was pure backstabbing, and honestly, hardly anyone felt sorry for Du Ziteng getting drugged, either. They all said whoever drugged him did a great job. Otherwise, nobody would have ever found out about all the shady crap they were pulling behind everyone's backs. I scrolled through the posts for a little while,